Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, the DN WhatIf, with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Class 1L became the top heroes of UA. All credits for this video go to their respective authors, so please support the real author. Check out the link in the description for more details, and go to the story link to say hi to the author. Please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now, let's get into the fanfic. Chapter 1. UA Sports Festival begins. Opening 2. The first scene shows Kai walking at the cross intersection in Tokyo, while All Might jumps high in the air, as his reflection showed in the skyscraper's glass windows. Kai stops and looks up into the sky, seeing All Might just above the sun's face until the title, My Hero Academia Line of Good and Evil appears. The next scene shows a sequence of Class 1L stretching and doing their training for the UA Sports Festival. First person is Usagi, who was stretching her legs at some park. Next person is Ali stretching his arms and back at a construction site. Then, it shows Tatsumi with his driver on himself, stretching his legs at the school's tracking field, and finally, the next scene shows Yuki Drago stretching at what appears to be a backyard of some mansion. He stops and turns to see something, and the scene quickly changed with Kai, Usagi, Eli, Arisa, AI, and Makoto as a group, while the other half of Class 1L are seen as another group, consisting of Yuki Drago, Felicia, Maruto, Muru, Tatsumi, and Junko, who was sleeping while standing until she tripped. But Tatsumi catches her before she hit the ground. The next sequence of scene shows them performing in the UA Sports Festival. Usagi jumps high, kicking through a fire. Eli is using his bug body quirk to zip and fly in the air, while Tatsumi transforms into his Kamen Rider mix and lay a punch at somebody. Then, it shows Yuki Drago standing in the darkness and with serious facial expression, while Hitoshi Shinso turned a little bit and gave a silent, glaring stare. The next scene shows All Might jumping in and landing on the city streets. He then turned facing away, zooming away from as Erasure Head, Present Mike, Speed Girl, and 3 members of Club SMH appear with UA High standing tall in front of them, while the students of 1L watched as the building looked to be looming or standing over them. The final sequence of scene shows each member of Class 1L doing their attack, with Kai Uno as the last guy, throwing his punch with a bit of green glow in his hair, until it stops, and the final scene shows everyone jumping into action in the same right direction. Summer was just around the corner. I had repeated this so many times before, but a lot happened since I joined UA High in spring a few months ago. So many experiences I endured, different, unique people I met, and yet, I still didn't know if this is the place I really belong to. This is the story of my life, where I become a hero, whether I liked it or not. From last time, 2 new transfer students joined my class. Their names were Felicia Marvell and Arisa Kawasaki. After their introduction, they were assigned to their seat. One of them, Ursa, sat right behind me. She gave me a small grin while she was passing by to her seat. Now that 2 new students joined our class, this is a good chance to announce that the US Sports Festival is fast approaching, my sister stated. Mr. Uno. I looked up at my sister. Please explain to the class what the UA Sports Festival is. I sighed, complying to her small order, and explained it. UA Sports Festival is a sports festival hosted by UA High. However, unlike any other sports festival at regular high schools, it is one of the biggest events in Japan. All students from the 4 courses, Hero, General Study, Support, and Business, will compete against each other in numbers of unique sports in a robin round style tournament. That is correct, she praised. Good job, Mr. Uno. You get a gold star. Oh yeah. My sister, or our homeroom teacher, treats us with a golden star in her notebook for a satisfactory answer and behavior. She really enjoyed her job, but also treating our class like if we are in kindergarten or 1st grade. I thought, with an annoyed look as I sat back down. This sports festival is also a wonderful opportunity for you guys to show off what you are made of. A lot of people, including many pro heroes, will come and see this event, she explained furtherly. In fact, the entire country will see it since it will be on live. I want you all to do your best, and as for my transfer exchange students, I know both of you just arrived, but I want you both to train hard and do your best at the festival as well. That is all. After a few classes, lunch break began. Everyone in my classes was pretty excited. Yo, dudes and dudes, isn't this so exciting? Eli asked excitedly. I can't wait to show off my quirk to everyone. Personally, I really don't like sports in general, but if it means to be the best, I won't back down, Maruto said confidently. It is a rare opportunity for us to show off what we're capable of, Aku commented. We must be prepared and trained hard to win. This is even a bigger opportunity for me. Now, I can see other students' quirk, Tatsumi mumbled. Yuki Drago just sat quietly alone at his own desk, just like me. I don't know about this whole festival and all, but I don't think I will do so well, Maru said doubtfully. My quirk isn't really too useful in sports, unless I read people's mind in tactical sports. At least it is easier to use, Makoto said. My quiet gamble is based on pure luck. I don't know what kind of quirk I will get whenever I use it. I really don't know how Junko would do things at the festival, Myro said as she looked at the sleeping Junko. She's always sleeping. Come on, cheer up, you two. Let's do our best and show what we are made of. Usagi cheered them up, which made them feel a bit of relief and confidence. I agree, Felicia spoke up. As Miss Uno said, let's do our best. Speaking about the teacher, I noticed our homeroom teacher shares the same name with that boy over there. Are they related? Arisa asked as she was talking about me. Oh yeah, his name is Kai, and our homeroom teacher is his older sister, Usagi answered. Really? That's shocking, Felicia surprised. I see, Arisa said as she walked over to my desk. I looked up at her. Hello, Kai? It's nice to meet you. Hey, I replied. I didn't know that you and our homeroom teacher are a sibling. That's really neat, Arisa commented. I think it's more annoying than neat, I thought. So Kai, what do you think of the UA Sports Festival? I am sort of nervous, but it does sound exciting, Arisa said. It is natural to feel nervous. I looked at the source of the voice. It was Yuki Drago, and he approached my desk. A transfer student, like yourself, had only arrived at this school just recently, and already you feel the pressure now that the school's sports festival is coming, where millions, probably billions of people in this country will be watching the school. A lot of pro heroes will be watching as well for scouting purpose. Whoever is in the top, or at least in the winning league, then whether you win or lost will determine if you will be successful in the outside world, he said. The atmosphere of our class felt a little heavier, as almost to the point we lose our breath. I see, Arisa hesitated. But I bet it will be a fun event. I have never been to a sports festival before. Then, that attitude you expresses will be your downfall, he stated. Huh? Arisa looked confused as the atmosphere became a bit more serious. What do you mean? What I am saying is if you find this event fun, so be it. But unlike the rest of us, we're not here for fun. We're here to become a pro hero, he stated seriously as he walked away to exit. Hey, you. He stopped to turn around to the source of the voice. It was Felicia. She walked up to him and said, Aren't you being rude to her? I only speak the truth. She can think this is a fun game, but we're not here to play games. We're all competitors now. Only the one with the strongest resolve can be at the top. That's all I am saying, Yuki responded. All right, I understand that. But how you said is still rude to Arisa like that, so apologize to her, she demanded. There is no need for that. As I said, I only speak the truth, he responded. An intense heat was building up between the two. Everyone could feel it, and it wasn't a good feeling. Hold it, Arisa shouted. Please don't fight. I apologize for what I said. Arisa, Felicia gasped. This boy here was being rude to you just a few seconds ago. I know, but he was only just speaking out his mind. He didn't mean to hurt anyone, Arisa explained as she walked up to Drago and lowered her head to him. I apologize for what I said before. I now understand how serious this sports festival is. Please accept my apology. We were all quiet, feeling glum, but also perplexed for some of us. Felicia looked harsh, but she didn't say a word. Even Junko didn't make a snore as she was sleeping very quietly, as if she knew that there was an argument going on. Yuki nodded, not saying a word as he left for the door. But when he opened it, we were in for a surprise. Many students from other classes huddled just outside our homeroom's door. Holy carrot, where all these guys come from, she exclaimed. They're all from the other courses, Tatsumi stated. So this is Class 1L. For a small class, it sounds like there's already a dispute among you all. One voice among the group of kids spoke. The source of the voice revealed to be a young man as he revealed himself out of the group. He had a messy indigo hair that sticks out and his purple eyes looked triangular a little bit. His eyes also had a very dark bag underneath them. Wow, so, where did you all dudes and dudes came from? What courses? Ile asked honestly. My name's Hitoshi Shinso from General Studies Department, the young man revealed. I only came here for one reason, and I already said this to Class 1 as well. I came here with a declaration of war. But I and all these other students eavesdropped and heard everything. It sounds like to me that declaration of war has already started among your group. Yuki Drago gave him a scowling glare and said, "This is a matter within our class. Move out of my way." Hitoshi and Yuki stared at each other for a few seconds. Even the other students stayed quiet, as they felt an intense heat between them. Soon, Hitoshi stepped back, allowing Yuki to walk through and went on his way. Just as if someone broke the silence, one young man shouted from among the group of students. This young man had long silver hair, thick pale eyelashes, and razor-sharp teeth. "Ararawa, I'm Tetsutestu from Hero Courses Class 1B, he shouted. "Holy carrot," Usagi gasped. "What is up with everyone? Better yet, what is up with Yuki today?" "I have no idea," Makoto commented. "He was such a quiet guy until just now. Even if I want to use my quirk to read his mind, I'd rather not know," Maru stated. "Man, everyone is on tense today," Maruto sighed. Tetsutestu felt annoyed as he was being ignored. "Hey, did you all even hear me?" he shouted angrily as he pushed his way forward through the group of people until he was out of them and pointed at my class accusingly. "You guys are worse than Class 1A. Woo, woo. Easy, bro," Eli responded calmly. "It's all right. I hear you. So, what are you dude and dudess for?" "Ah, here to get my autograph." "What?" Tetsu gasped. "No, that's not what I am here for. I am here to spy on you all, scout you, to see who you are." Of course. Since our class was involved with the villain attack at Usui and got out of it, our class and most likely Class 1 became a hot topic among the student body. "They came here to check us out before the sports festival," Aku explained. "That's why we're all here. We want to check why the two hero course classes, Class 1A and 1L, are so famous. But just like those wanna jerks, you guys are as arrogant as they are," Hitoshi stated. "Hey, we're not arrogant," Usagi argued. "That's right," Felicia stepped in. "You can't just judge the class based on what happened to them or what they did." "She has a good point there," Ely said. "Look, I don't know what you guys think of us, but we're practically same here in person. Let's just be cool with each other, okay?" "Same?" Hitoshi repeated. "We're not same at all. You guys are in the hero course, while we are in other courses. Many students who applied UA for the hero course didn't pass, so that is why some of us decided to be in the other course. If we do well in the sports festival and even win it, the teachers will consider our transfer to the hero course. That is the same for removing someone from the hero course as well." "What?" "So if any of us don't perform well at the sports festival, we'll be removed from the hero course," Tatsumi gasped. Rest of us didn't say any words, except for ones who were involved in the conversation. "That's why I came here to say a declaration of war, like I mentioned before," Hitoshi said. "Yeah, I declare a war, too," Tetsu declared. "Whoever gets to the top wins it all." "Poo please," Arisa said loudly. "Please stop fighting. Let's all be friendly." Her words, unfortunately, was a deaf ear to them and the party involved. "Excuse me, pardon me." Someone pushed through the group. "There you are, Tetsu." "Huh? Kendo? What are you doing here?" he asked the girl who just showed up. She had teal-colored eyes and orange hair tied into a ponytail that hangs from the side of her head. "Come on, Tetsu. Be more mature, and don't be so unfriendly to other classes," she scolded, making him growl a bit, but complied to her words as she then looked at Hitoshi. "And you too. Everyone, let's all just go home. There's nothing else to see here." The other students felt the same thing. Hitoshi didn't say any words as he also left, too. They all left, clearing out of the way so that we could finally leave our home classroom. "Sorry about my classmates' rudeness," the girl apologized. "Well, good luck to you all at the sports festival." "Thank you very much," Arisa replied kindly as she bowed to her. "Oh, no need for formality. My name is Itsuka Kendo, by the way," she introduced. "Anyway, see you guys later." She dragged Tetsu down the hallway as he tried to resist, but to no avail. "Man, that happened," I commented in my mind. "Something tells me I'm not going to enjoy this year's sports festival." In another 2 weeks, my classmates trained during their free times for the sports festival. Of course, I had to do my own training for it as well. But while training, I think about what Hitoshi Shinso from the General Studies course said. If one does well in the sports festival, the school will consider their transfer into the hero course. If someone in the hero course doesn't do well in the sports festival, the school can drop that person out from the hero course. I was thinking about it to myself, and took a moment for a breather during my training. If I don't do well at the sports festival, I wonder if I can. No, that won't make any sense. There's no way my sister would accept it. Unless. My Hero Academia. The morning of the festival began. Already there were many people, including pro heroes from all over the place in Japan, and even some from around the world. There were food stands, games, and even a few carnival rides for young people, including children. Wow, that looks fun. A young woman with 2 blue horns commented. I want a ride on that. Stop it there, Mount Lady. A strict man stopped the lady with a bark growing out of his arm. We're working here for security, not for fun. Ah, spoil sport, she puffed her cheek. I got to say, UA High is going all out for this year's festival. I think it's the first time they do carnival rides this year, Death Arms commented. That's true. They haven't done so last year. It's probably because so that it eases the public's uneasiness. Some people criticize that it's best for not to do the sports festival this year, Kamui Wood stated. That would have been suck for the school, but I can see why, Mount Lady said as she munched on the takoyaki balls. Good thing they didn't. As they walked and watched around, Mount Lady stopped for a moment. Hey, look over there, Mount Lady said. Is it another food stand? Look, for the 3rd time. We're not here to. Kamui Woods realized that it wasn't what he thought Mount Lady was looking at. Excuse me, Mr. Jude Light, is it? Some news media caught Jude Light in person. He was accompanied with another pro hero, who was a woman in light blue and white skin-tight suit with diamond pattern on her sleeves, middle of her belly button area, and legs. Could we ask you some questions? One of the media members asked. What is your purpose here for today? Is it for scouting purpose? Well, actually, I am here to enjoy the festival, Judge Light replied kindly, but then changed his tone to more serious look. But I am also here to watch over things. What do you mean, sir? The newswoman asked. My subordinate here and I are here to make sure that nothing terrible happens here, and making sure that everyone feels safe when we are in the presence, Judge Light said. I see. But that's a job for the security, though, the newswoman said. I will be the judge of that. Ma'am, Judge Light interrupted. Security or not, it is the job of the pro hero to make sure that the public feels safe whenever we are at present. Whoever disobeys the peace, they will face my judgment. That is all. It's that Judge Light guy, MT Lady said. I wonder if he can take over me. Don't you dare think that he would take over your job for security, Mount Lady, Kamui Woods said strictly. Yeah, I was just kidding. Ha, ha, ha. Mount Lady chuckled as she sweated a little nervously. Come on, guys, let's go somewhere. Frankly, I don't like that Judge Light fellow, Death Arms said as he walked away. Why? Are you jealous that he's been on one of the hot topics on the TV lately? She asked. It's not that. I am not jealous of him, Death Arms argued. Right? Mount Lady replied as she rolled her eyes. Let's just get on with our job, Kamui Woods reasoned them. But he thought about Judge Light, and though he doesn't dislike him, he didn't like about Judge Light's thought on villains. My Hero Academia. Are you ready? All, President Mike exclaimed. The US Sports Festival is about to begin. It is your very own mech for this year's first-year stage. President Mike, yo. The spectators cheered in response, feeling excited and looking forward to the sports games. This year for the first-year stage, I am here with 2 awesome assistants. First, my lovely assistant MC. Please welcome the fastest one around, Speed Girl. President Mike presented my older sister. Hey, everyone. This is Speed Girl, coming at you fast on live, Speed Girl announced. And my good old friend and co-worker, Mummy Man. President Mike presented Erase Your Head in all bandages. I hate you, Erase Your Head replied. Please all welcome to Mr. Erase Your Head, one of our fellow faculty and teacher here at UA High. Speedy Girl quickly changed the topic. So, President Mike, how about let's introduce our competitors today? You're quick on the topic, Speed Girl, President Mike said. All right, folks, let us introduce you the competitors for the US Sports Festival's first-year stage. Please welcome the first group of students from the first year. They are the famous class at UA High, and you may have heard about them. Please welcome the Hero Class 1A, Speed Girl announced. Midoriya and his classmates appeared and walked over to the center of the stadium. The spectators cheered for them at all. If not, most of the people here wanted to see them. Then, up next, though not as popular or famous as Class 1A, they are tough and strong, just lacking behind Class 1A. Here comes Hero Class, Class 1B, President Mike exclaimed as the members of Class 1B presented. I remembered the 2 class members from 1B. Tetsu and Kendo. They looked confident and proud, though Tetsu looked little too serious. Then, here comes the general study classes, 1C, D, and E, Speedy Girl stated excitedly. Support class F, G, H are also here, too. Don't forget about them, as they are some of the finest classes who make awesome support devices and upgrades for future generations of pro heroes, President Mike said. They are just equally important in our societies, Speed Girl explained. You got that right, Speed Girl, President Mike said. And speaking about, here comes the business courses, Class 1I, J, and finally K. All the classes from the 4 major course type gathered in the stadium ground. Well, it looks like that wrap up. Everyone is present, President Mike declared. Wait, President Mike. There's one more class we haven't introduced yet. Speed Girl stopped him. Oh, you're right, Speed Girl. Thanks for reminding me. President Mike stuck his tongue out jokingly. Are you guys even taking this job seriously? Eraserhead mumbled. We have our best and last. Presenting the last class from the hero course. They may be the smallest class in all of UA High. Couples of oddballs, but good-hearted and strong kids. Plus, they happen to be my precious students. Speed Girl spoke through the mic. And, personally, they are like my babies. She said that part in cute, baby tone voice. Here they come. The one and only, the last class of the hero course, Class 1L. My classmates and I walked out of the hallway. The sunlight shined on us as crowds of people cheered at us. Usagi was the most excited as she was jumping around and waving at people. Tatsumi was writing down stuff in his notebook privately as he walked to the stage, while everyone else looked confident at their best. Yuki, however, looked emotionless while Junko tried her best to walk, even though she was still sleeping, with help from Makoto and Muru at both her side. Well, this is it. The UA Sports Festival begins today, I thought. Ending. Takara Hitori Yanai. Usagi was laying on the grass with petals of cherry blossoms fluttering everywhere in the air. She catches one of the petal and grins. All the girls of Class 1L is shown together, laying on the grass with Junko sleeping as always and enjoying the scenery they are in. The next sequence of scene shows the girls and their activity together. It shows in order, and while silhouette of each member walking together along the scenes move from right to left in the classroom, doing their classwork with few members having a little trouble, running at the tracking field for training class, and then eating together at cafeteria. The scene changes to them as a group on a rainy day in their school uniform, looking gloomy and quiet as they watched up the sky, as if they are waiting for the sun to appear or the rain to clear away. The sunlight beams through the rain cloud, stopping the rain. The next scene shows the girls jumping excitedly during a training course, while the guys of the class are behind them, while Speed Girl watches them over. The scene changes to them running together as the boys try to keep up with girls' smile and laugh together, as the sun shines over them, while the petals of the cherry blossom flow away in the winds. Chapter 2. Race to the top. My class and I walked into the stadium. The people who came to see the festival cheered at us as we joined with the other classes of the school. Holy carrot. There sure are a lot of people here. So exciting. Usagi practically jumped in joy. Yeah, we are really here, guys, Ile exclaimed excitedly. So many people, with so many quirks, so many potentials. Tatsumi whispered to himself, which made him look a bit eerie for others who noticed. The referee for the sports festival games came up to the stage, and most of the guys became very more excited, let's just say. It's Miss Midnight, the R-rated hero, Usagi said. She sure looks cool. Yeah, I guess you can comment her look as something cool, I thought. Quiet, all of you, Midnight shouted as she used her whip to make a smack sound. To begin the festival, the player representative must come up and give an opening speech. This year, in fact, we have two. Please welcome Katsuki Bakugo and Yuki Drago. My classmates and I were surprised to hear one of ours was a player representative. I remembered that Bakugo was number 1 in passing the entrance exam, so that must have been a reason why he is also a representative, which means that Yuki Drago must came in a tie with him. Bakugo and Yuki Drago walked up to the stage and then turned around. The first person to speak was Bakugo. To all of Yui will be placed at first, he announced. The entire school rebuked at him, showing with thumb down and even shouting out bad names. Bakugo, that's too much and just plain out too rude for all fellow students, Tenya scolded at him. Suddenly, Yuki stepped in and roared so loudly that stopped the entire class and frankly the whole stadium to be quiet. His roar sounded like a monster and his face literally changed into a dragon. Once he stopped roaring, his face turned back to normal. Everyone was silent for 30 seconds as Yuki Drago said this to everyone. If you want to become the first than everyone else here, so be it. Prove it through your resolve, if that is your true conviction. Thank you to our 2-player representatives. Midnight continued on. You both may return to your class. The spectators began commenting about Yuki and Bakugo. This is getting interesting, said one guy. Is this going to be fair match this year? One lady asked. That Yuki Drago is sure a scary kid. He's definitely going to be really good with interrogating villains, commented by another guy. Geez, kids this year sure have some big attitude. Stan Lee talked next to a pro-hero spectator sitting next to him. I don't know if I should be inspired or be scared by Yuki-kun's speech, Usagi thought aloud. More scary than inspiration, Ashido of Class 1 commented. Although, there is a truth in his word, ribbit. Tsu remarked. The first event will be the preliminary round and everyone can participate, Midnight announced. It is an obstacle race. The TV monitor showed the event name and the map of the obstacle race. It was literally a 4-kilometer race that went around the stadium. The one thing I do notice about the map was the giant pit hole-like area in the middle of the race. As long as you stay in the race, anything is possible. Please get ready at the starting line as we will begin the race in 3 minutes, Midnight stated. Woohoo! First thing I got to say is what a surprising opening speech given by the 2 reps, Present Mike said. What did you think, Mommy Man? Would you stop calling me that? Erase Your Head grumbled. What did you think, Speed Girl? Present Mike asked the question to her instead. Well, as the homeroom teacher for the class that Yuki's part of, his speech is the first time I ever seen him so sort of angry, yet passionate about in all honest opinion. My sister answered. Someone who said something like what Yuki said is definitely determined to win the sports event. I see, and yes, I agree with you. But we will never know for sure until the game begins, and I believe the first event will begin right about. Midnight popped the pistol, starting the first game. Now. The race began, and already it was difficult. Everyone was trying to get through the hallway to get out of the stadium. I was being pushed and pulled from left to right. God, this is too crazy, I yelled. So erase your head. What would be the first thing that the players need to be careful of if they want to win this first event? Present Mike asked him. Right here, Erase Your Head answered. Just then, a cold air breezed through the hallway until everyone's feet became frozen in ice, suddenly. Wow, look at that. Now everyone got cold feet thanks to young Shota Todoroki of Class 1A, Speed Girl stated. Not exactly everyone, Erase Your Head said. They were right. His classmates, or in fact, the entire class, had avoided his attack. You won't get away from me, you half bastard, Bakugo rebuked. You're too predictable, Todoroki-san, Momo said. Suddenly, something passed by the entire class 1A and went chasing after Shota. What was that? Present Mike gasped. Something just passed by the rest of Class 1A and went chasing after Todoroki. That something has happened to be one and only Yuki Drago from my class, 1L, my sister exclaimed. Oh. I expected my class to avoid my ice, but I didn't quite expected you to show up this early, Shota said to Yuki while running forward. And I expected you to use your ice power to freeze other players, Yuki replied. I remember your power back then at the Usuji incident. Shota glared at him as he continued running while using his ice power to distract Yuki Drago. Yuki dodged from left to right whenever the ice spike appeared out of the ground, which slowed him down a little, but not completely stop him. It looks like Yuki Drago is gaining on the cool kid, Todoroki, but he's using his ice power to slow Yuki Drago down, Present Mike commented. However, that won't stop Yuki Drago, as he uses his quirk to fly through and dodge every of Todoroki's ice spike attacks, Speed Girl said. Guys. There is something I must point to now, Erase Your Head spoke up. He pointed at the only student left at the starting line. It was Junko, my other classmate, and surprise, she was sleeping through the race. Hey, isn't that one of your students, Speed Girl? Present Mike asked. Yes. Could someone tell her that the race just started? Speed Girl requested through the mic. Hey, wake up. The race has just begun. Midnight tapped on Junko's head. Junko shook a little, and then stood up, but with her head still looking down as she was still sleeping. Slowly, she began walking toward Midnight, and every spectator's sweat dropped, feeling very uneasy, doubtful, and sort of sorry for Junko. Well, at least better late than never, right? Speed Girl said, laughing a bit nervously. How about we take a look at how everyone else is doing? Excuse me, sorry, watch your head. Usagi was jumping over on the heads of some students to pass through. It looks like some students from other classes made through the icy obstacle. There is Usagi, using her bunny quirk to jump on the head of the other student, instead of walking over the ice with her own feet, Present Mike said. Very strategic, though kind of rude to the other students for stepping on their head, Speed Girl teased. My other classmates were doing fine. I had to walk carefully on the icy, so I don't slip. Illy was using his bug body quirk to make himself use insect wings to fly over the ice. Wah! I turned around to see who slipped, revealing the culprit be Arisa. Are you okay? I asked. Oh, Kai. Thank you for asking, but I am fine. She got back up and carefully walked over the icy path. While I was walking over the ice, I thought to myself, if this was an obstacle race, where was the obstacle? Suddenly, I heard some kind of scream near the front of the race. That was when I noticed the giant robots that I fought against back in the entrance exam. Holy carrot. It's those robots from the entrance exams, Usagi pointed out. And we revealed the first obstacle of the race. The villain robots, Present Mike admitted. What the hell? One student from the business course shouted. Is this what those hero students faced in the entrance exams? Cried a student from the support course. The spectators were super excited, and some were super worried. Wow, those are some huge robots, Stan Lee commented as he talked next to the pro hero who was sitting next to him. It reminds me of the Sentinel I wrote about for one of my comic book series. However, that showed a guy from class when he used his ice quirk to instantly freeze some of the villain robots, defeating them and using it for his advantage. And there goes Shota Todoroki, using his ice power to freeze the first obstacles, Speed Girl stated. He's taking the lead here? But check out your student, Speed Girl. Yuki Draco is literally burning them up to melt through the race. Present Mike pointed out at the monitor, showing Yuki using his dragon breath power to destroy the villain robots. Hey, that guy in the lead made a path. We can use that, one of the students shouted. I wouldn't recommend it, Shota said. I froze those robots when they are out of balance. He was right. The frozen robots came crashing down, blocking the way for the other students. But that didn't stop everyone, especially my class. That's okay, I can just jump over it. Usagi showed off what she means, jumping over the defeated robots. When she did, though, she was in for surprise when Kirishima came out of the defeated robot. Holy carrot, where the heck did you come from? Usagi gasped. Damn it, Todoroki. I got crushed by this stupid hunk of metal, Kirishima grumbled. You were what? Usagi gasped. See you later, Usagi, Illy teased as he just flew by. Hey, no fair, Usagi yelled back as she chased after him. You should not get distracted, of course, Illy said. Meanwhile, the other students, including myself, were about to face, or in my case, refight against the robots. Did we really have to fight these things? Arisa asked. If you want to go to the finish line, then yes, I answered honestly. Well, I guess I eventually have to use my quirk, Arisa sighed. Here goes nothing. I watched her doing something with her hand. She closed her, and then her hand suddenly glowed in blue energy. The smaller villain robot detected her, striking its first attack on her. I was about to jump in to stop it before she gets hurt. But suddenly, she shot an energy beam from her right attack, defeating the robot before its attack hit her. More robots came after her. I quickly jumped in and counterattacked against the incoming enemies, with her behind me. Kai, Arisa said. Thank you for protecting me. It's nothing, I replied. We should keep moving forward. We continued to move forward, while the other students were either being defeated by the villain robots or distracted in the fight with it. Some students are progressing through the first obstacles. Way to go, Speed Girl cheered. But could they progress through the next obstacle? It is the fall, Present Mike announced, and he was right. We stopped near what appeared to be a giant pit hole. In fact, it was so huge and deep that it probably was several feet deep. All I can see was pure darkness below. Wow, when did the school ever had the time to dig this hole so deep? Arisa thought aloud. It looks like the only way to get over this obstacle is tight rope, I said, pointing at the rope. Then, I saw one player jumped onto the rope. It was Tsuyu from Class 1A, using her frog quirk, and did a jump start. The other students followed after her. We should start moving then, Arisa suggested. I nodded in response. I had to admit that this obstacle is probably much scarier than fighting the fake villain robots. Shota Todoroki and Yuki Drago were still in the lead. Hey, what's that? As I got to one of the land platforms, I turned around and saw a giant bird flying over me and everyone else. I noticed a familiar person riding on the giant bird. which looked like something out of a painting. It took long enough, but it takes patience to draw an art and patience is virtue, Felicia stated, writing on the bird. Name: Felicia Marvell, age 15, quirk, life paint. Anything she paints can become a real living thing. She needs a hard surface to paint on, and her painting's weakness is water, which is very common weakness for any paintings. Impressive. So that is Felicia's quirk, Speed Girl acknowledged. That's right. And it looks like we arrived at the final obstacle. The landmine field, Present Mike exclaimed. Shota Todoroki. The leader stopped when he saw the sign that says landmine warning. So, I see that I met my disadvantage for being ahead in the group. Indeed you have, but I can fly over it. Shota gasped and saw Yuki Drago flying over the field at much faster speed. Shota quickly began moving not until he heard a crying roar behind him. Oh no you won't, you dragon bastard, Katsuki screamed as he went full speed with his explosion quirk, bumping Yuki Drago to the ground and activate one of the buried landmines. Whoa, did Bakugo just purposely crash Yuki down to the ground? Speed Girl asked surprisingly. He did it in order to stop Drago from advancing in the race, Eraserhead explained briefly. Katsuki quickly charged forward with his quirk and huge, malicious grin over his face. Yes, finally, I am in the lead. Damn it. I know I will leave a path for others, but I have no choice. Shota began running, using ice power to make a clear path for him, but also leaving the path behind him. Yuki Drago saw the two players moving ahead of him. He tried to flap his wing, but felt a pain in his left wing. Uh-oh, it looks Yuki Drago is having a problem in the flying department. Yo, Present Mike noticed. In other words, he is having a trouble to use his wings. It must have been the explosion by the mine, Speed Girl pointed out. That Bakugo bruised my left wing, Yuki thought as he had no choice but to run, using the icy path that Todoroki created. Arisa and I arrived at the final obstacle, seeing that everyone who made it through the last obstacle already started walking over the field very carefully and steady. Look, we can use the path that Mr. Todoroki made, she pointed. Suddenly, one or two landmines set off, exploding the icy path and destroying it. No use of that, I said. We moved carefully and slowly through the landmine field. I could see the three leaders fighting among each in the front, but they were too far away. At this rate, it was best to reach the finish line and not aim for the top, which I was already intended to do. You know, Kai? I turned to Arisa as she talked to me. Even though I wanted to win this race, at least I'm having fun in this race in the end. You wanted to win? I asked. Yeah. She looked hesitant to say something as if she had a second thought, but then sighed out. At first, I really didn't care much about winning or losing, but just watching at how Drago, Todoroki, and that Bakugo guy are aiming for the top, I can't help myself, but I wanted to do my very best and beat them in the race. I'm not much into competition, but seeing them going through the obstacles and the struggles, I couldn't help, but I wanted to do better than them and everyone else. While I was focusing on my each step, I said to her, well, that's the point of pride. Pride? She repeated. Everyone has their own pride. To be better than anyone else, to be at the top, and always be successful than others, I explained. Do you have your own pride, too, Kai? She asked. That question hit me, and made my mind blank. As long as I could remember, I didn't think I have any pride to be the top. Matter of fact, I really didn't know if I have pride to be the top in the first place. I just kept moving forward, not answering her question until something huge exploded just behind us. We turned around and saw a huge smoke, when suddenly something flew out of the smoke and went all the way to the front. What was that? She gasped. Is that? Present Mike gasped. I cannot believe it. It is Midoriya Izuku of Class 1A. He's flying over all the other players and reached to the front. And now he's in the lead, Speed Girl exclaimed. The spectators who were watching cheered so loud that their cheering was like a thunder. Wow, that kid was smart to use that robot's metal shield to detonate the landmine, causing him to blast himself into the lead. Stan Lee was impressed. I saw Midoriya now in the lead, ahead of Yuki Drago, Shota, and Bakugo. He used the metal shield again to detonate the mines, causing the latter three to be forced to stop. He ran ahead to the finish line and eventually crossed it, becoming the winner of the first event. The people cheered. Even my sister was screaming into the mic. Excelsior! Stan Lee jumped into the air, with his hands up in the air, and then applauding for Midoriya's victory. Even one who seemed to look the weakest person in the world also had a pride. I wonder if I have my own pride. And if I do, what is my pride for? Is it really here? Chapter 3. Full charge ahead. Well, it's been a while, but I don't blame the author. I really don't like this part of the story, but I will tell you otherwise. So, we left off right after the first stage just ended. And that is it. The top 64 has been decided, and we will soon announce who they are. Congratulations who made it, and also great job to you all who did your best, Speed Girl announced. I was glad that the race was over, and just stood around to wait for the announcement. Kai. I turned to see Arisia offering me a bottle of water. Good job. If you would like to, please have this water bottle. Oh, thanks, he said. Everyone sure did their best. I hope they all had fun, she said with a grin. Yeah, I said as he looked around and noticed that Minta from class 1 was stuck on his female classmate, Ashido, due to his quirk ability, and apparently, he enjoyed it that he was stuck on her from behind. Tenya and other classmates of 1 were trying to help Ashido to remove Minta from her. No, Mr. President, what do you think you're doing? Minta cried. Minta-san, this is highly inappropriate and embarrassment to our entire class. I must remove you away from Yaoyorozu-san, Tenya said as he tried to pull him off from her. Yaoyorozu had a troubling and embarrassed expression. She was probably thinking to herself and saying, like, this is just horrible. Hey, Kai, hey Arisha. Usagi hopped to our side. That was one crazy race, don't you think? I thought I would be first, but I never expected Midoriya gets the first place. This festival is full of surprises, Illy stated as he joined us. But the show has just begun. I see that both of you enjoyed it, Arisha noted. Speaking of which, Usagi turned over and hopped to the winner. Hey, Midoriya, congratulations on your win. Let's take a selfie. Wait, what? He gasped. Cheese. Near the wall, Bakugo was cursing silently to himself, looking down on the ground in frustration. Damn it, damn Deku. Damn that half-bastard. And damn that stupid dragon boy, he frustrated. While Midoriya was surrounded by his friends and classmates, congratulating him and feeling a bit bashful of himself, Yuki Drago stared at him silently. That boy there from class 1A, Izuku Midoriya, is quite an impressive boy, don't you think, Kai? Arisha asked. I am happy for him that he won the first game. Yeah, I guess so, I replied. I really didn't care who wins or not. But Arisha was right. Izuku Midoriya, though I've seen him at the same middle school he went, like me, he didn't look impressive from the outside. But whatever he did, he must have made a clever strategy. He must have really wanted to win this race. After 3 minutes, the announcement of the top 64 was about to start. The top 64 has been decided. Now, here are the results, Midnight declared. 1. Izuku Midoriya. 2. Yuki Drago. 3. Shoto Todoroki. 4. Katsuki Bakugo. 5. Felicia Marvel. 6. Ibara Shiozaki. 7. Juzo Honuki. 8. Ida Tenya. 9. Takoyami Fumikichi. 10. Seihanta. 11. Kirishima Ijiru. 12. Tetsu. 13. Kisaragi Kagome. 14. Ajiro Mashirao. 15. Asui Tsuyu. 16. Sakura Usagi Tsubomi. 17. Alex Francisco Barbaros. 18. Aku Senkora. 19. Shaoji Mezu. 20. Satu Rikadu. 21. Kayuno. 22. Arisa Kawasaki. 23. Uraraka Ochako. 24. Yaoyorozu Momo. 25. Minta Minoru. 26. Ashido Mina. 27. Koji Koda. 28. Jiro Kyoko. 29. Kaibara Sen. 30. Kosai Tsuburaba. 31. Kaminari Denki. 32. Maruto Denki. 33. Tatsumi Kenta. 34. Kajuo Bando. 35. Ryako Yanagi. 36. Hitoshi Shinso. 37. Itsuka Kendo. 38. Jiraiya Shishida. 39. Shihei Kirwaro. 40. Yui Kodai. 41. Makoto Takemukai. 42. Maru Tekino. 43. Hiryu Rin. 44. Naranjaki Shoda. 45. Kinoko Komori. 46. Toguru Kamakiri. 47. Nito Monoma. 48. Pony Tsunotori. 49. Setsuna Takage. 50. Manga Fukadashi. 51. Mei Hatsum. 52. Yuuga Aoyama. 53. Kuma Snap Camera. 54. Yost Suawace. 55. Sen Kaibara. 56. Jiraiya Shishida. 57. Kosai Tsuburaba. 58. Amin Onpai. 59. Larry Cray. 60. Shoto Kamitsuku. 61. Honda Sauda. 62. Rex Adam. 63. Toru Hagakure. 64. Junko Neru. What the? Junko-chan actually made it to the top 64, Usagi gasped. Hey, how did she make it? Isn't she that girl who started last at the beginning of the race? One of the spectators shouted. Yeah, that's right, another spectator exclaimed. I am with the spectators on this. How did she advance to the top 64? Present Mike asked. I wonder, too, Speed Girl said. While you two were blabbing about the other competitors in the race, I had my eye on her, and this is the footage that showed how she won, Eraserhead said. The monitor showed Junko Neru starting the race at the every last. She went through the tunnel, and once she exited out the stadium, she slipped herself, but slid forward due to Todoroki's ice from earlier, passing by the frozen students. She continued walking or walking through the fields of giant battle robots we faced in the entrance exams. The robots were too distracted with other competitors that they completely ignored her, or just didn't notice her at all. Once she reaches the pit bowl, she stopped and went to sleep again. Her snot bubble grew to an enormous time, and out of coincidence, the wind picked her up, allowing her to fly over the pit. Finally, she passed through the minefield very easily due to that most of them were exploded already by the other racers before her, and reached the goal just right before the race ended. Everybody couldn't believe their eyes, with their eyes popping and their mouth wide opened. Some even looked surprised or annoyed, like Bakugo. Even Stan Lee had the same facial expression. How is that even possible? Everyone shouted. Incredible, All Might said in his mind, as he also couldn't believe it, too. Ahem, Midnight coughed intentionally. The 64 at the top earned the right to advance. Congratulations to you all who made it. But also a great job for you all who didn't. However, the festival has just begun. And now for the post-preliminaries, the final selection. From here on out, even the press corps will teem in a white heat of excitement, so go all out. I looked up at the screen, then to my classmates. Everyone in my class made it to the top 64, including Junko, which was kind of a miracle. Now then, on to today's second heart-pounding event, Midnight announced. I already know what it will be, but the suspense is killing me. What could it be? Well, I'll tell you. Behold. The screen showed human cavalry battle, which was quickly explained as a 2 to 4 person team-up, with points distributed based on each competitor's performance, and apparently the first place worth 10 million points. Everybody turned towards Izuku Midoriya, who looked very terrified. Well, that suck for him, I thought. The time limit is 15 minutes. Our referee explained. The point value of each group's headbands is worth the total point accumulation on each of the Warhorse's members. And the one to wear the headband will be the Warhorse's rider. Think to him or her as a standard bearer. Until the time is up, you'll all be fighting and stealing as many of each other's headbands as much as possible. However, you may not equip your headbands in any area beside above your neck. As more and more headbands are taken, maintaining control of the situation will become more and more demanding. And the most important aspect of our human cavalierly battle is that even if you lose your headband, or crumble as a horse configuration, you're still not out of the game. Well, at least that's a good thing to know. Even if you fall, you and your team are still not out, Arisha summarized. But fixing the horse will take some time, which would make your team lose times to get more headbands, Tsuyu added. Plus, she didn't say that the other team cannot steal headbands from others while they are fixing the horse, Aku stated. Don't rush into conclusion, and don't talk while I speak, Midnight yelled, making the said 3 cringes. As I was going to say, quirks are of course allowed, so I want to see some fine brutality out there, she continued. That being said, this is still a game. If you attack any other group with the malicious aim of breaking them up, that's a red card, and you'll be forced to sit out for the rest of the game. All right, you now have 15 minutes until then. Start negotiating your team-ups. There are 64 of us who made it from the first game. Since this is a 4 free-to-all team, that would mean any numbers of horses from 16 to 21. My mind calculated the number. However, based on the performance of each student, points are distributed on every one of us. Midoriya is in the first place, so he worth the highest points. Plain and simple, everyone will go after him. As for me, I am in the 21st place, so I don't worth a lot. Excuse me, Kai. I exited out of my thought by the familiar voice. I turned to see Arisha. If you don't mind, she said. Would you like to team up with me? Well, before I said anything else, Usagi jumped in and interrupted. Hey, Kai, let's team up, she declared. Ah, I gasped. Oh, Miss Usagi, I was just asking Kai to team up with me. Would you like to join us? Arisha asked. Sure thing, more the merrier, Usagi agreed quickly. I didn't even get to say my answer. I moaned mentally. Since we can have up to 4 people, let's ask someone else to join us, Arisha said. Good idea, Arisha, Usagi nodded. And I think I know who to ask. Hey, Eli. Eli turned to see the girls approaching him, leaving me behind. Why the hell are they deciding this without me saying anything? I complained in my mind. Say, Eli, want to join us? We have Kai, Arisha, and me on the team. If you want to, you can be at the back and support us with your neat bug body quirk. What do you say? Usagi suggested. Eli, though usually looked proud and good mood, didn't look happy, but more serious. Sorry, girls and Kai, he replied, showing a little smile. I can't join your team. What? Usagi gasped over dramatically. You don't have to be that surprised, I said. Oh, I see. That's too bad, Arisha said in a bit of sad tone. Are you teaming up with someone else's team? Well, yeah. Actually, I was asked to. I am joining with Yuki's team, Eli admitted. Say what? Usagi gasped even more over dramatically. Seriously, you don't have to be that surprised, I said strictly. But why are you joining Yuki's team, Eli? Well, I don't know the reason why he asks me. But he did, and I decided to take his offer, Eli explained. Kai, Usagi, you guys are my best buds since we joined UA High and became classmates. I know it is bad for friends to fight one another, even in competitions. But I also aim to become the best, too. If joining with the best will make me stronger, then I will join Yuki's team and win. Wow. I didn't know you were that hardcore, Eli, Usagi said. Okay, good luck to you, man. Thanks, Usagi, Eli showed with a peace sign. That's good to hear. I wish you all good luck, Arisha said happily. Eli went off with Yuki Dragon's team. Usagi looked worried as she was thinking hard. I am happy for Eli. But now, what are we going to do? Is there anyone else we can ask to join us for the 4th member? She asked. That's true. I mean, it is fine if it's us 3. But having full 4 member for the team would give us an advantage, Arisha pointed out. I rather wanted to move on with just us 3. But Usagi will just continue to bicker about it. So I needed to find our 4th member. Yeah, her 4th member. I walked around in the crowds of people and saw one guy who might be fit for our team. I reached for his shoulder. Hey. As time ended, everyone was ready with their team form. I saw Izuku Midoriya's team composed of Uraraka, that pink hair girl with many gadgets, and Takoyami on the left. On my right, I saw teams Todoroki and Bakugo, and also Team Yuki Drago. He was the rider, and his members were Lee in the front, Muru for his right support, and Felicia for the left support, surprisingly. Hey, look over there. There is Eli and Drago's team, but Felicia is also in it, Usagi pointed. But why is she there? I thought she didn't like Drago. That is very strange, Arisha admitted. Maybe they apologized and for that, they joined together. That must be it. I doubt that. But that's something I don't need to think about now, I thought. Is everyone ready? I asked. AI, Captain. Usagi, is the support, she exclaimed. I am ready, and I am the defender, Arisha stated. Snap is reporting for duty, Snap announced as he was the front. I am both the offense and the defense. With my camera quirk, I can flash at our enemies for distraction and snap a perfect victory. Let's do this thing, Usagi cheered. Yeah, Arisha cheered a bit timidly. I have no idea if this team-up will work, but it's worth the shot, I thought. What kind of team-up is that? They even have one guy from another different class than theirs. They sure will fall apart in on time flat, Bakugo raged. Yuki Drago just stared at us intensively. All right, the combatant teams are set. Let's get this game on the roll, Speed Girl announced. Yes, let's rock and roll. Let's start the countdown to this extreme clash, Present Mike declared. You two are hard-boiled, Eraserhead mumbled. Remember our plan, guys, I said. Everybody is targeting on Midoriya, so let's use that to our advantage. My teammates nodded as the second event of the UA Sports Festival was about to begin. 3, 2, 1, go. Once that go was announced, all other teams except for our team charged Team Midoriya, except for one team that I didn't expect to face. Kai, look out! Team Drago at 12 o'clock, Usagi cried. Yuki's team was charging at us. I was very surprised, thinking that he would intentionally go after Midoriya. But I was wrong, dead wrong. What? But why us? I thought aloud. No time to be surprised. Snap. Snap used his camera lens eye to snap couples of time to make some flashes. Ah, my eyes, Eli blinded as they stopped. I got back into focus and ordered my team to escape. This way? We got to get away from them. Right. They ran to the direction I pointed, getting away safely for now. Well, look at that, Speed Girl. Your little brother, Kai and his team, maneuvered a well-done escape, thanks to their teammate, Snap from a different class than you're teaching, Present Mike noted. I am proud of my brother. Go, my little baby, she announced so loudly that everyone heard that. Most of the spectators laughed, and I felt very embarrassed, as you could probably guess by now. Damn it, sis, I raged mentally. Despite the setback and my sister making me embarrassed in public, I managed to grab the headband of a close team. 50 points. Not a bad start. I just wonder why Yuki's team went after us first. I thought he would go after Midoriya-kun's team, Usagi exclaimed. That is strange, Arisha agreed. Actually, it makes sense, I said while we were still moving. He has Takino in the team. Her quirk allows her to read other people's mind. Oh, that's right, I forgot about that, Usagi remembered. Wow, Muru-san has that kind of quirk, Arisha gasped. Pretty neat, but very dangerous to us and everyone in this game. It's no wonder why Drago-san picked her for his team. We better be careful and just keep an eye on them, Usagi stated. Yeah, but for now, we need to gather as many headbands from other teams as much as possible, I said. As we gathered more and more headbands from the other teams, our total point increased steadily over the time limit. Good, we're moving up the ranks, Usagi cheered. It's not over yet, Snap stated as we were surrounded by 3 different teams. Look, Kamakiri-chan. We surrounded the Class 1L team, Pony Tsunotori exclaimed. That's great and all, but using the chan is for girls. I am a boy, Kamakiri raged. Well, it seems like you are surrounded by us, Class 1B teams, a boy with blonde hair stated. You will now humiliatingly be defeated by us one. Hey, be nice, Nito, Itsuka Kendo scolded. This is still a game. What are we going to do? We're surrounded, Arisha cried. Charge, Nito declared as his team charged. Go, Kamakiri yelled. Wait, hold up, you guys, Itsuka warned them. But it was too late for them. Usagi, now, I shouted. Hold on to your panties. Usagi hopped us away, which made Team Nito and Team Kamakiri bumped into each other instead. Doh! They hit each other, and their horse crumbled. I was going to warn you guys that you shouldn't do that, Itsuka scolded them. Ooh, my head. Pony's eyes swirled. My back, Senkaibara moaned. Impressive. Did you see that, Speed Girl? Your brother's team made a daring escape. Using Usagi's rabbit quirk, they managed to hop out of troubles, Present Mike announced. Go, Kai, my sister cheered. There shouldn't any favoritism, you too, Erasure Head said. Phew, that was close, Erasure remarked. You there. We stopped and saw another team charging towards us. It was that Tetsu guy. I'll have my revenge for my classmates. Oh no, it's that Kirishima guy's impersonator, Usagi gasped. The moment became silent until Tetsu stopped for a moment and gasped. What did you say? I am not his impersonator. I am Tetsu, he angered. Did someone say about me? Kirishima asked. Just shut up and move forward, Katsuki ordered, bonking at his head. Whatever, say cheese, Usagi replied as Snap flashed at them, causing them a temporary blind while I grabbed their headbands. Damn it, they got away, after them, Tetsu raged. But they could only wobble a bit due to the blindness caused by Snap's flash attack. I grabbed 2 of their headbands, while they were confused by Snap's flash attack. How many points we have right now? Usagi asked. We have about couples of hundreds. Probably over 1,000 by now, I answered. If we keep this up, we will at least make it to the top 32. Suddenly, like a gust of wind, something moved past me, and I felt one of the headbands we collected snatched right from me. I turned around and saw Yuki Drago just passed behind, with one headband in his hand. Oh no, Arisha cried. Drago-san grabbed one of our headbands. What? Usagi gasped. But how? I didn't see them coming, Snap exclaimed. We stopped and turned around, facing eye to eye. Yuki Drago, I mumbled as he stared at me intensely. Traitor. I should have stopped you from joining his team, Usagi yelled at Eli, the front rider in Yuki's team. If it's to be the best, I will take whatever opportunity I get, Eli responded. Thanks to my quirk, I turned my legs into a bug leg that moves fast. And this time, we know your tricks, Yuki Drago said sternly. At first, I was surprised that you picked someone outside of class to be part of the team in this human cavalry battle. But when I declared to attack at your team first, I soon realized why. So that's why he attacked us first instead of Midoriya's team, I thought. You seem to know your front rider's quirk very well. In a matter of fact, I heard about someone at our school who uses the camera for quirk, and I had to say, that's pretty clever of you to choose a student with that kind of power, he explained. Second, you choose Usagi is another wise choice. Using her rabbit quirk for escape plan is another good defense on your side. With her and that student with the camera-like quirk, you have a pretty good defensive team. But what your team lacks that my team has is an offense. Other than your front rider, using his quirk to flash at the enemies, you don't have anything to fight back. For a second, my team and I cringed or twitched our eyes. HMPH. Just as I expected, Yuki said. It seems like you are trapped. No way. We can get away from you, like the last time, Usagi argued. Let's jump. No, Usagi, we can't, I shouted. Usagi cringed to my sudden shout, but I really didn't know why I did that. In fact, why do I feel like I had to do that? Huh? Why? She asked. Oh, I see, Arisha realized. Usagi-san's quirk may be useful for escaping, but Drago-san has the ability to fly. If we do jump to escape, Yuki Drago-san will just stop us on the moment we do it. Holy carrot, you're right, Usagi exclaimed. Usagi, even though I can read people's mind, everyone should know that, Muru noted. Only 1 minute left. All the teams are on the edge. Who will be victorious? Present Mike announced. Charge, Yuki declared. Felicia, cover us. Felicia pulled out what appeared to be a painted tall mirror. Yuki used it as a shield to cover their front while charging at us. At his command, his team pushed forward, charging at us. Unfortunately, we were trapped. Just behind us was the boundary. I also saw a tall icicle barrier on the left, probably made by Todoroki. Usagi could jump us to escape this, but she could only jump over the enemy and Yuki Drago could just fly up to stop us at the moment we do it. We could use Snap's quirk, but if we do, they would use that mirror shield to reflect it to flash at us. There was only one other option left. Don't worry, guys, I will protect us. Usagi, snap, and I gasped as Arisha made her move. She activated her quirk, waving her hand out as a thin blue barrier surrounded us. The painted mirror shield and the blue barrier collided, creating friction. What's this? Felicia gasped as the rest of Yuki's team members were also surprised. Arisha focused on her power and put even ounce of it. Her barrier pushed them away, allowing an opening to be made. Quick, let's go, Usagi declared. We moved to escape from Yuki Drago, but he quickly reacted and grabbed one of his headbands. However, Arisha moved her left arm and slapped at Yuki Drago's hand, stopping him from even touching the headbands we collected. We made it out our daring escape. They're getting away, Felicia shouted. Arrah! Ile roared as he quickly turned around and chased after us. You won't get away from us that easily. Yuki Drago jumped off and flew toward us. We watched as he was behind us. Suddenly, without even thinking, my body reacted. I turned around with my fist ready, glowing in green energy as it glowed into redness. With Yuki Drago reaching both with his hands, I twisted myself, retaliating back with a punch at ready. Time out, Speed Girl shouted. We stopped, but accidentally tripped when we did. Yuki Drago stopped as he landed abruptly. That is it, folks. The time is up. Now, it is time to look up the team scores, Present Mike decided as the monitor showed results. The first place goes to Team Todoroki. The second goes to Team Bakugo, Speed Girl announced. We helped each other up, and then looked at the monitor to see the result. The third place is Tetsu. Huh? Team Shinso? When did you get up? Present Mike surprised. The fourth place is Team Drago. Great job, Speed Girl cheered. The fifth place is Team Midoriya, Present Mike said. And the sixth place goes to Team Uno. Yeah! Speed Girl cheered so loudly. The crowds cheered and my teammates jumped in joy that we actually made it to the top 32. I couldn't believe that or rather I made it this far. However, I still couldn't stop shaking my hands. I didn't know why, but for some reasons I felt excited, afraid, joy. I really didn't know how to explain it, but whatever it was, this sports festival made my heart racing. After announcing the top 32, a break session started as it was lunchtime. After the lunch break, there was the mid-festival show, and then the battle rounds begin. Whatever this feeling I'm having, I'm sort of enjoying it. But this feeling I had in this sports festival won't last too long. My Hero Academia. Well, honey, at least we're better late than never, right? Said a woman. This woman had long violet hair. She wore a skin-tight dark blue costume that changed the color from the top to bottom. The top half was like black-like space, with yellow stars all over it, and the bottom half changed to light blue color. The costume also had a sleeve, and she also wore fingerless gloves and a white mask, with only 2 violet eyes showing. 1 minute late is too little, too late. That would determine the difference between how much life you can save and how much would die. We need to do better than this, dear, said a man. This man wore a golden costume. His outfit was almost like what an English king would wear. The cape was also gold and white feathers for the shoulders. He wore a helmet mask that covered most of his face, except for his mouth area. His eyes were black without any pupils, but that was only part of the helmet mask. The mask also had 2 horns that shaped like clock hands. He also wielded a golden scepter with a clock at the top. Hey, let's not talk about work for now. We took our time out for this, remember? She reminded him. The man sighed and said, You're right. At least let's make our time here and enjoy the moment as long as present allows. Some of the people noticed the odd couple and looked a bit surprised, or rather too surprised. Hey, is that? One guy asked. Yeah, I think it is, another guy exclaimed. It can't be? Why are they here all the way from the USA? One lady asked. Don't know, but maybe they're here for scouting some young hero to be from UA. They have to be, another guy stated. Meanwhile, the 3 pro heroes, Death Arms, Mount Lady, and Kamui Woods were on the patrol when they saw some commotion. What's going on over there? Mount Lady asked. Huh. It sounds like to me that some people are gagging over there, Death Arms said. Let's check it out, Kamui Woods decided. They agreed and went to check what was going on. But when they did, they were also surprised. No way, Death Arms gasped. It can't be, Kamui Woods surprised. Wow, are they for real? Mount Lady questioned. Ah, you 3 there. The man in the golden outfit pointed at them with his scepter. Escort us to the stadium and get us away from these people. We are making enough scene already. Time Lord and Mrs. Galactica. Chapter 4. Rocky Relationship. Well, it's been a while since I saw you. I was wondering if you just got bored hearing me about my story. Well, since you are here, I guess I just have to continue where I left off, huh? Last time in my story, my team and I made into the top 16 in the UA Sports Festival. We managed to pass through the cavalry battle round. Yuki Drago's team pushed us to our limit. But thanks to Eris's quick thinking, we managed to pull it through and win our way, somehow. Now, we just started our lunch break. Boy, that was one heck of cavalry, Maru said, looking quite tired. But at least it was fun, Usagi smiled. Say, how was your team, Makoto-chan? Oh, well, we did not quite bad for ourselves. I was partnered with Aku, Tatsumi, and Junko-chan. But somehow, we made it to the top 32, though at a very low place. That's great. That would mean that everyone in our class made it, Usagi exclaimed. Not everyone. The girls turned around and saw a depressed Maruto, looking very dead that they were spooked by him. Eek, Usagi jumped. Don't scare us like that. Sorry. He apologized sadly. Hey, cheer up, man, Ili said as he patted Maruto's back. At least you are not technically out of the festival. There is still a recreational activity. Right, Felicia added. You could try making a good impression during then. Yeah, I guess you guys are right, Maruto said, looking a bit better. Everyone except Maruto has made it to the top 32, huh? I thought. Kai? I snapped out of my thought as I noticed Arisa. Oh, Arisa, what's wrong? I asked. Oh, nothing, she flustered a bit. I was just wondering what you were thinking. Huh, I looked at her, bit confused by her word. Oh, I don't mean to be noisy or anything. I was just a bit worried because, well, you seem to be always thinking about something, she said honestly. Oh, yeah, don't sweat it, I replied. Well, that was weird, I commented. We will have a 30 minutes lunch break, and then the festival will resume with some recreational activities, a special live concert, and then the main course. See you all then, Present Mike announced. Phew, what a work, Present Mike stated as he breathed out. Finally, erase your head, Aka Mr. Aizawa mumbled. The first half of the sports festival sure was a heartbeat. I am just excited for the second half, Speed Girl stated. Oh, how about I get us some lunch? Oh, you would do that for us? Thank you, Miss Speed Girl, Present Mike said, accepting the offer. Sure, I will be back. Speed Girl rushed out of the room, using her quirk to get to the food vendors. She didn't even ask us what we want, Aizawa pointed out. Yay, Present Mike said awkwardly. Speed Girl arrived at the food vendor and just bought everything. And I mean literally everything. Now that I think about it. I didn't ask Aizawa-san and Present Mike-san what they want. Oh well, at least I got everything, Speed Girl said cheerfully. Speed Girl, she stopped for a moment and saw who called her. Ah, she gasped. At the cafeteria hall, where the people who were in the sports festival eating, I hung out with my classmates as usual at our own table. Hey, Felicia, I was wondering, Usagi caught the girl's attention. Why did you join Yuki-kun's team? She replied as she was just drinking water. To be honest, I thought you would never join him because of that fight you had. Usagi reminded her. Actually, I was wondering about that too, Arisa said. Is there a reason, Miss Felicia-san? Well, that is true. I wasn't planning on joining him at first, but despite our disagreement, I cannot deny him, she answered. What do you mean? Arisa asked. What I mean is that I cannot deny him as a strong competitor and someone to admire too, Felicia said. His skill, power, intelligence, and charisma, they're characteristics that I cannot deny, but admire and I have respect for. True that I don't like him for being rude at that time, but other than that, I do like about his characteristics. If I join with a person like him, maybe I can learn something about it in order to become a better hero. Wow, that's pretty deep, Usagi said as she thought mindfully to herself. Mr. Drago said. He is indeed looking like a perfect model for what a pro hero stands for, Arisa commented. Is that the reason why you joined him, Eli? Usagi asked the boy. Well, more or less, yeah. I joined him because he is like the strongest guy in our class, after all, Eli said with a smile. Though, now that I think about it, he does have that kind of aura about him. Aura of a true hero. Though, I wonder why he seems to so lonely, Arisa said as she looked over where Yuki Draco was, who was sitting alone, eating his own lunch. Mr. Uno. Everyone, including myself, looked up and saw it was my sister. Miss Speed Girl, everyone gasped. I looked at her and sensed there was something about her a bit different, yet familiar. Could it be? There is somebody who wants to meet and talk with you. Could you come with me? She asked. There was a second or two of silence. I got up, without saying anything back, put my lunch tray away, and followed her. My classmates watched as I walked away with my big sister, looking worried, curious, and interested. What was that about? Usagi asked. Maybe we got into trouble, Ili asked. Something big, probably, Maruto guessed. Kai Arisa thought, looking worried the most. Yuki Drago just stared at me, watching me walk by his table until I exited out of the cafeteria hall. I knew this kind of feeling. The people she wanted me to meet. The very least people I like to meet in my life. We're coming in. My sister knocked on the door to a meeting room. She allowed me to go in first, and the first thing that happened was that I was embraced by something warm and plush. Ka-mai-ai, my little baby. WhatIf, as you could tell. I was intensely being hugged, or rather crushed by my mother's arms and her chest. Honey, enough hugging. You're making lose breath, Time Lord stated. But I miss him so much. Mrs. Galatica replied with the joy of tears in her eyes while hugging me tightly. Then, I will make this quick while you are giving, enough affection, he said. How are you doing, Kai? Is this school doing you good? Have you made any friends? I finally got off from my mother's clutches and just looked at him in the eye. What are you doing here? I asked seriously. My father twitched his eyes a bit, but kept a calm expression. Why? Why not? We're here to see you. This is, of course, the U.S. Sports Festival, the most famous event where many people come and see, including the entire country. We couldn't miss this grand event despite our busy schedule. That's funny, I replied with a smirk. You said at first that you are here to see me, but it sounds more like you're only here to see the festival, not me. Kai, don't be so rude to Dad, my sister spoke up. He and Mom came all this way from America just to see you. Yeah, rather, they're just here to check me, making sure that I don't do anything that they don't like me to do, I argued. Kai-kun, my mother gasped. My father slammed the table and stood up. We jumped a bit and just stayed quiet. He slowly walked up to me, looked down at me for a second, and then left out the room. Nobody stopped him, not even my mom. I just looked down, sulking while my mother and my sister looked sad. I could care less about my father. Speaking about my father, he was walking down the hallway, looking angrily as I was until he stopped and heard someone's voice. Don't be so cold. Is it because he was taught well? He saw the voice was All Might's, and he was talking with Endeavor, another pro hero and #2 in the hero ranking. What are you trying to say? Endeavor asked. Why, I seriously want to know how to raise the next generation, All Might answered. HMPH, you look clueless as usual, and it's getting on my nerves, Endeavor said as he walked by, bumping All Might by the shoulder, but continued walking down the stairs. All Might didn't shrug and just said in response, I'm sorry. I will make that into a hero who will surpass you one day. Yes, that was why I created him, he said as he looked over his shoulder. He's in his rebellious stage right now, but he will definitely surpass you. I will make sure of that. Endeavor left, leaving All Might looking confused and sweating. Don't waste time with a man like him, All Might. The man himself snapped and turned to see Time Lord. Oh, Time Lord, what a surprise, All Might gasped honestly, yet happily. How's it been? How's your wife, Mrs. Galactica? What are you doing here? HMPH. Always ask a lot of questions. Your straightforwardness always amuses me, All Might. But I am delaying my response to your question. I am doing fine. My wife is doing well. And the reason why I am doing here is to see my son's performance here at this festival. Oh, do you have a son who's enrolled here in the UAJ? That is surprising, All Might gasped. Who is your son? Sorry, All Might, but I don't have time to answer your question now. I need some time for myself now, but I will leave with this note. Like Endeavor, I have a son who's also in a rebellious state. And all honestly, it was a waste of time for me to check on him, Time Lord said. Eh? All Might was surprised to hear what he just said. Goodbye, for now, All Might, Time Lord said before the latter got a chance to ask more. Geez. It sounds like being a father is a tough job, All Might commented. Somewhere, I myself was walking alone down the hallway, all moody when I thought I saw a familiar person calling my name. Hey, Uno-san, Lola yelled. If you don't remember, this was Lola, the third year at USG, and she is the captain of the SMH Club, which stands for Social Music Hero Club. I'm one of their first-year members. I was looking for you. I need your help in preparing our concert. Oh, if you are hungry, I already prepare lunch for everyone, so. She stopped talking with I just completely ignored her, passing her by. She turned around and looked worried as she may have noticed my moody expression on my face. Uno-san? She thought to herself, looking worried. Meanwhile, the other members of the SMH Club, Chijiro and Leo, were setting up the props and instruments for the concert in the private room. That was when Lola came in. Yo, Lola. Did you ask the other members if they're gonna help us? Chijiro asked. Oh, unfortunately not. They are kind of busy, she answered uneasily. Gyro-san is doing something with her classmates. Uno-san, on the other hand. Leo and Chijiro looked at Lola as she looked a bit concerning. GRR, Leo growled. Yeah, as Leo said, you want to do something to cheer him up, right? Chijiro said. Huh? Oh, yes. But I have no idea what to do, Lola said sadly. Well, there's nothing else but do what we do best, Chijiro exclaimed. And we'll help, right, Leo? GRR, Leo growled in an agreeable tone. Thank you, you guys, Lola said happily. Back to my side of the story. I was still being moody, heading back to the cafeteria where I expected my classmates be waiting for me. But something else was also waiting for me. That was trouble. Kaya! I heard a scream. It sounded like one of my classmates, Arisa. I decided to run as quickly as I can. When I arrived at the cafeteria hall, there was already a crowd of students surrounding something or somebody. Hey, what's the big idea? Usagi yelled angrily. What's the meaning of this? This is clearly against a school rule, Tenya scolded. I walked through the crowds, trying to get through, and when I did, I saw what was happening. School rule, sorry, but who are you supposed to be? The person who was speaking was a brown-scaled dinosaur humanoid boy with an orange that goes down on his neck. His eyes were yellow reptilian-like eye and his fingers revealed with sharp claws. He wore the same school gym uniform, like all other students at USG. Yeah, like what Rex here said. Besides, it was only an accident. This girl here bumped into our friend here, so she is the one who should be apologizing, stated by another person. This one was a much taller and bigger fellow. This guy was a literal lobster person, with the claws, antenna, extra limbs or arms, and tails, except that his eyes were the normal human eyes and mouth. Exactly like what Larry said. What are you saying? 4 eyes? You think we're lying? This one was the shortest of the trio. His hair was a green mohawk with saved skinhead on the side of his head. But his mouth was big with 2 bottom teeth sticking out from his mouth. They were both sharp. What are you talking about? Arisa's son didn't bump into you. I saw her clearly watching where she was walking, Felicia argued. TCH. And you people call yourselves the future pro-hero of our generation. Are all the hero course students a bunch of liars? Rex argued. All the other students in the hero courses, especially ones from my class, heard it and all rallied together, looking a bit mad. Wait. Everyone stopped and looked at Arisa, who just yelled out. It's okay. It's my fault that I accidentally bumped into a fellow student. My apology. She even bowed to the trio, which the other students were surprised to see. Arisa, Felicia gasped. What are you saying, Arisa-chan? These guys are the ones who did it, Usagi stated. Yeah, you don't have to apologize to these jerks, Ely added. Ha, 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 ha. They saw the dinosaur guy, Rex laughing in response. Well, at least someone understands. I will let this little incident pass, but I will say this much. Once we're back in the festival, you all will be on your mercy. Ha, ha, ha. He and his friends left the scene with a laugh like a villain. Arisa stayed in the bowing position until the trio left. The other students left as my classmates, and some from class 1A accompanied by Arisha. I joined in as well. Oh, hey, Kai, you're back, Ely said, just noticing me. Yeah, sorry, I was taking long, but I turned my attention to Arisa. Are you okay, Arisha? Yes, I am fine, she replied, though it didn't look like she was. But still, those jerks, Usagi grumbled. Indeed, I know what I saw. Those guys are the ones who bumped into you. But why did you apologize to them? Felicia asked. Yes, I am actually kind curious that for myself as well, Tenya Ida said. I just don't want to get you guys into a fight, that's all. I dislike violence, Arisa said honestly. Arisa-chan, Usagi said softly. Oh, well, we understand that. But you know that they're the ones at fault, right? Ely asked. I know. But there is no need to fight them. Besides, I was too carelessly not aware of my own surroundings, Arisa said. Everyone thought for themselves, feeling a bit confused, even though they were just only defending her. Anyway, we should all get back to the stadium. The festival will resume soon, Arisa stated with a smile. Ah, you are right, Ida remembered. Let's get going. We should not be delayed. We all headed to the stadium, leaving behind our thought about Arisa's incident. Though, I wondered why she did what she did. In fact, she seemed to be very apologetic to others, even if she isn't the one who's at fault. She was quite a pacifist. Everyone who made it to the top 32 was back at the stadium. There were even cheerleaders when we came back. But from strange reasons, all the girls from class 1A were dressed up as cheerleaders, too. Even present Mike asked literally through the mic. What kind of fan service is that? My sister said completely different, which was, oh, they look so cute, though, why are they wearing those outfits? Leaving aside that awkward situation aside, as Midnight explained about the tournament brackets for the final part of the festival before the recreational activates began. As she was about to declare who make it to the top 20 for the tournament bracket that was shown on the screen, 2 students spoke up and requested for withdrawing from the festival entirely. They were the guy with the tail named Ojiro from class 1A, and this other guy, I didn't know his name, from class 1B. I overheard Ojiro saying his reason for the withdrawals with his classmates. Apparently, he was partnered with that one guy from the general course, Shinso, during the cavalry round. According to him, he couldn't remember during the time of the cavalry battle, which was very strange to me. The other guy from class 1B said the same thing. Midnight accepted their withdrawal request due to her taste into a type of guy like that, which many students felt very confused about, including me. With that over, one person from Tetsutetsu team and another team replaced the withdrawn students, and then the 20 finalists were declared. The first person I'm facing was none other than the guy from the cafeteria, the one who bullied Arisa, the guy named Rex. Hello, everyone. I am here. Or rather, I am back. Sorry for the long wait. I hope that you all have been waiting patiently for this story. But I am back with new interest for this story. If you have been sticking with me this long, then your patience is awarded with a brand new chapter, Chapter 4. This chapter was more of character development, and getting to know more about our main protagonist, and also introduction of few new characters. I hope to get Chapter 5 out soon around the holiday break, so wish me luck. If the next chapter doesn't come out soon, then please be patient if you have been for all this year. Then thank you so much. But do not worry that it won't be another long butt break, and enjoy reading the official tournament bracket below. Please be aware that it isn't in order. See you guys soon, and have a plus ultra day. Tournament bracket. Kai Uno vs Rex Adam. Sakura Usagi Tsubomi vs Yuki Drago. Alex Eli Francisco Barbaros vs Tatsumi Curate. Izuku Midoriya vs Hitoshi Shinzo. Todoroki vs Zero. Bakugo vs Uraraka Achako. Yaezoro Momo vs Tokoyami. Junko Neru vs Larry Cray. Tenya Ida vs Mai Hatsune. Kirishima vs Tetsutetsu. Chapter 5. Kai's Wrath and Usagi's Determination. I checked who was on the tournament bracket, and there I noticed the first person I am fighting. The person's name was Rex Adam, the one who bullied Arisa back at the end of the lunchtime. I looked around, and soon found him and his two buddies talking with each other until they noticed me. I quickly looked away, so they won't notice me, but I knew that they know that he and I are going up against each other in the match. Before the tournament begins, the recreational activities began. The students who didn't participate in the 1 versus 1 tournament did things like racing while pushing a large ball to the finish line, scavenging hunt based on the name of the item they got on a piece of paper, and others. After the recreational activates were done, the tournament finally began. The first match was between Izuku Midoriya versus Hitoshi Shinzo. At first, Hitoshi was talking something to Midoriya, which he retaliated back. But when he did, his body froze, and the next thing that happened was that he moved by Shinzo's command. From what I saw, it seemed like Shinzo's quirk must be some kind of brainwashing ability or mind manipulation. Luckily, Midoriya was able to release from Shinzo's power and knocked him out of the arena's boundary. At least, other participants, including myself, didn't need to worry about facing against Shinzo's power. What a scary quirk. Next up was Todoroki versus his classmate, Senro. Senro started the fight by using his tape to trap and catch Todoroki, but he froze him in a giant icicle. It was so huge that it even reached barely to my face and everyone else's. I didn't know what to say, but if anything, Todoroki is one person you don't want to mess with. The tournament continued on as one fighter wins and other loses. It was a matter of time when I was up next, and that time came. I really didn't want to fight or feel like to fight. I was still mad about my dad and all. Without any hesitation, though still moody, I walked outside into the arena when the spectators cheered. My classmates cheered for me, and so for some of the guys from Class 1A, but I didn't hear them. On this corner, we have the kid with the brain and bit of a grumpy cat, Kai Uno, Present Mike announced. Eh? Grumpy? Speed Girl asked on the mic. Look, dear, it's our boy. Go, Kai-chan, Mrs. Galatica cheered. Her husband and father, Time Lord, just watched quietly, as he also checked his watch from time to time. On the other side, we have a surprising student who made it far and determined to defeat the hero course. From the general course, it is Rex Adam, Present Mike stated as the guy himself showed up from the opposite. I looked at him calmly as I can be, but still moody as I didn't want to be here at all. Rex Admin smirked at me. So, you're from the hero course? The Bunch of Liars Club. He began talking to me as I just listened. If you are so-called a hero, then you're just lying. Heroes these days are just being heroes for money and fame. They're just a bunch of liars. For that, I have to defeat you and your lying friends, and show the world who's the real deal. Let the match begin, Midnight announced. As soon as she did, Rex Adam roared and ran toward me. I quickly reacted and got my arms up just in time. He punched me. His punch had hit me hard. He then started attacking me constantly with his punches, but what surprised me and got me off guard was his tail, which went through my arm defense. That's got to leave a mark, Present Mike commented. Hey, what's that punk doing to my poor little brother? My sister yelled through the mic. That was embarrassing for me for her to say that. But nonetheless, that wasn't important right now. Speed Girl, you know that you're on the mic, right? Mr. Aizawa reminded her. Oops, Speed Girl realized it. That jerk. He is just punching and tail whipping Kai-kun, Usagi complained. As much as I hate to admit, but Kai may lose if he doesn't do something fast, Eli stated. Arisa thought worryingly. Well, it seems like the first of Class 1L will fall earlier than I expected, Nito Monoma of Class 1B commented. Ha ha ha. Here I thought that hero course students are more powerful than us from other classes. But you guys are really just weak cowards, Rex said mockingly as he continued attacking. Maybe this is a good time for me to just give up, I thought. The pro heroes who came to watch the festival even commented on how bad or lame my fight was. My father got up from his chair when my mother noticed. Honey, where are you going? She asked. We're leaving now, he replied. As he punched me, I was getting closer and closer to the edge of the arena. Then again, it's no wonder why you guys are called Class 1L, Rex continued. Yet, why do I feel like... Kai, what are you doing, man? Fight back, Eli yelled out. The L stands for losers. You guys are a bunch of losers, Rex called out as he stepped back a bit, getting ready to push me hard off the edge. This guy, he's really pissing me off. I put down my arms down defensively, but got my right hand up into a fist. You guys don't deserve to be in a hero course. It should be someone who works hard, stays true, and most deserving. Someone like me. He roared as he ran toward me. Most deserving, I said to myself angrily as my right fist began to glow in green. Then, why don't you take it from me? I punched him right in the cheek, crashing his head onto the concrete floor, which created a crack. The impact was so strong that it created a blast of wind that was blown over the spectators. Even Midnight tripped by the blast of the wind that my punch caused. My father stopped and turned around to see just what had happened. When things got settled, I was sweating and huffing like I was almost out of breath. There was a tint of blood on my fist. As for my competitor, Rex Adam was on the ground unconsciously with his mouth opened and blood coming down from where I punched him. The audiences gasped and surprised to see what had happened. I may have hurt him too far. Ah. The winner is Kai Uno from Class 1L, Midnight announced. However, nobody really cheered, but only with a scared and concerning look. Midnight checked over Red Adam, such as pulse. Fortunately, the nurse bots came over to take him to the nurse's office. My classmates were the most shocked. They didn't know what to say. Good job, Ila yelled out, which surprised me the most. Yeah, no need to worry, you did great, Usagi cheered. My classmates yelled out despite what the other spectators think, trying to cheer me on. Due to them, some of the pro heroes began clapping their hands. I didn't know whether they did it to make it not awkward, but I just left quietly and went to the waiting room to relax. Well, that was a good victory for Kai Uno, Present Mike stated. What did you think of it, Speed Girl? Huh. Oh, I say he did his best. He must have waited for the right time to counter, Speed Girl said abruptly. Mr. Aizawa didn't say any words, but thinking to himself. The other spectators just clapped their hands, though looking a bit concerned or just unsure about what just had happened. In the waiting room, I was greeted by my worried classmates' friends. Yo, Kai, are you okay, man? Ili asked. You were like not. Well, not do much out there. Is everything all right, Kai? Arisa asked. I'm fine. I just wanted to end the fight as soon as possible, that's all, I answered. In all honesty, I didn't know why I did what I did in the fight. I was planning to withdraw then, but that Rex guy just kept bad-mouthing that I felt like I have to punch a sense into him. Well, at least that jerk got what was coming. Usagi huffed with pride. Say, Usagi-san, aren't you going next? Arisa said. Ah, you're right, Usagi remembered. I'll catch you guys later and wish me luck. She hopped away as quickly as possible. She sure is peppy today, but I wonder if she is up for it. She is facing against him after all, Eli said. Yes, Yuki Drago-san, right? Arisa noted. I hope she will be all right. Well, let's go back, Eli decided. We don't want to miss this match. We return to our seats just about a half minute before the match begins. We are now on to our next match. Our first competitor is a very peppy, jumpy young lady from the Class 1L who made it through the first obstacle round impressively. With her mighty hop, here is Sakura Tsubomi. Present Mike presented. But everyone calls her Usagi, Speed Girl added. The crowds cheered as Usagi entered the arena, waving to everyone cheerfully. And at the other corner, we have possibly the strongest fighter in the tournament. Please welcome the man of power, Yuki Drago. Present Mike stated as the crowds cheered, possibly louder than for Usagi. Here we go, Ili said. This is just my guess, but I think Yuki Drago would have a higher chance of winning this, Tatsumi thought aloud. You'll never know that, Maruto said. The match hasn't even begun yet. Yuki Drago is definitely the strongest of all of us in the class, Aku added. His power and tenacity are the keys to his victory. On the other hand, Usagi is, well, a bit of bubblehead. Excuse me. The boys felt alarmed as they noticed Felicia got up and looked at them madly. Usagi has been training all these weeks to prepare for this. And she isn't as bubbly as you think she is. Yeah, that's right, Maru joined in. Very rude, Makoto added. Whoa, easy ladies, Eli stood up, trying to sound reasonable. The guys didn't mean it like that. What Felicia, Makoto-san, and Muru-san are saying is that Usagi-san, despite her, easygoing personality, is actually very serious, Arisa said. At the arena, the two competitors stared each other. Usagi looked the most determined as her rival noticed it. As the fight was about to begin, Usagi mesmerized about something from the past. 1 week ago. Say, what are your reason for the sports festival, guys? Usagi asked the girl. The girls of Class 1L were hanging out together, relaxing outside the schoolyard. Of course, Junko Neru was with them, too. But as you all should know, she's always sleeping. Huh, what do you mean? Muro asked. I mean, like your reason for being in the sports festival, Usagi explained. Well, the sports festival is made for students to impress potential pro heroes. It is a big opportunity to show off what we're made of, Makoto said. I mean, at least that is why I am joining in the festival. Same here, Muru stated. Everyone had the same thought, but Usagi had a different thought. Well, that's true, but actually, I have a bigger reason why I want to be in the festival, Usagi said. Well, what is it, Usagi-san? Arisa asked. You all know how the sports festival will be broadcasted on TV live, right? Usagi said as the girls nodded in response since they knew. Well, since a lot of people will be watching it, I am just wondering if it may be possible that my mom will watch it too. The girls looked at each other for a moment, and then laughed. Hey, what's so funny? Usagi asked, getting a bit flustered or upset. Oh, nothing, Usagi. It's just that I thought you will say something very, well, important, Felicia chuckled. It's not that we're laughing at you, Usagi-san. We just thought we expected you to say something else, Arisa reasoned. Oh, okay. Well, actually, the truth is I am orphaned. The girls stopped laughing when she said it. You see, I really don't know or remember much about my mother because she left me at this church when I was just a baby. But Sister Coco took me in, and she's been taking care of me since then. I appreciate what she did for me, and I have a lot of friends at the orphanage. But I also want to look for my mom, so I thought that the sports festival is the best chance for me. If I win the festival, maybe she will notice me, she explained, with a bit of excitement at the end. The other girls looked seldom, but they all smiled. Well, I think that is a great reason, Usagi-san, Arisa said. Yes, indeed. I 100% support your reason, Felicia added. I can tell that your mind is made up, and I don't need to read your mind that you are, Muru noted. You can do it, Usagi, Makoto said. And I am sure Junko-san would agree, too. If she wakes up, that is. Zzzzzzz. Junko snoozed peacefully. Oh, I am sure she can hear what we say. But thank you so much, you guys, Usagi said as she smiled at them all. Flashback ends. The girls of my class, 1L, watched quietly as midnight was about to announce the start of the match. Meanwhile, somewhere else, at a certain orphanage, a group of young kids along with a sister nun watched the television with excitement. Look, it's Big Sis Usagi. One of the girls pointed to the TV screen. Yeah, Usagi, another kid cheered. You can do it, Big Sis Usagi, a different kid said. Sister Coco, Big Sis Usagi will win, right? A young girl asked. She was sitting on the lap of a nun with emerald eyes and clear white skin. She looked quite young for her age, which was currently unknown. We'll cheer her for from here and give all our hope to her so that she can win, Sister Coco said. Let them match. Begin, Midnight declared. Usagi began hopping around Yuki Drago. His eyes gaped a moment, looking a bit surprised and curious to see what she was planning. The match begins between the two students from the same class, Present Mike exclaimed. And it seems like Usagi makes the first move by hopping around Yuki Drago. What do you think she's planning to do, Speed Girl? I am not quite sure, but I think Usagi may have a plan, Speed Girl replied. I know you're tough, Yuki. Probably you're the strongest guy in our class, but I am fully aware of your quirk and what you can do. I will just keep hopping around until I attack you the right moment, Usagi thought. Yuki Dragon thrust his wings inward and then thrust outward with a large roar. His wings caused a bit of wind, which made Usagi lose balance. Woo, she almost tripped. Usagi then hopped toward Yuki and gave him a back kick while she stood with her hand on the ground. Woo, nice position, Minta commented as he blushed. He was one of the students from Class 1A, the shortest of them all, and from what I heard, the most weirdest of them all, let's just say. Be considerate. Gyro staved him with her earphone jack, making him cringe. However, Yuki Drago blocked it with his wings. But he also gritted his teeth when Usagi kicked him. Just as I thought. Usagi hopped a few feet away from him. Yuki, you're still hurt from the obstacle race, which means that you cannot fly even if you want to. I should thank that mean, loud Bakugo for this. Here I go, Usagi hollowed as she strikes with her next attack. Usagi attacked with both forward and back kicks at Yuki. But Yuki dodged every single kick until he grabbed one of her legs. Huh? She gasped. He then threw her away, making her hit the ground and skid on it. I won't fall that easily, she exclaimed as she attacked again. Yuki Drago kept doing the same thing as Usagi continued doing the same thing several times. The pro heroes in the spectators' seats were getting a bit grouchy and impatient. This is getting hopeless. Just finish her already, one pro hero called out. I can't stand watching this. This is just like with that Bakugo kid versus Uraraka. Other pro hero yelled. Ooh, this is not looking good again, Present Mike said nervously. Hey, erase your head. Don't ask me. This is a fight between Class 1L. The teacher who's responsible over them should say something, Erase Your Head said as he and Present Mike looked over Speed Girl. What is wrong with these guys? Eli said. Don't they know Usagi is doing all her best? They think the fight is not taking in seriously enough for it to be a fair game, Aku commented. It is just like the match between Bakugo and Uraraka. Ili decided to do something unexpected. He breathed in strongly and then, Fight on, Usagi, he yelled loud enough that it stopped the booing from the crowds. What the? Who's yelling? Present Mike asked aloud. Usagi, who looked roughed and beaten up, stopped and saw Eli from the group seats. Don't give up. Just keep going forward, Eli yelled. Usagi, Makoto stood up as she yelled out her name. You can do it. We believe in you. Yes, you can do it. Fight on. Muru then stood up. My entire class, except for me, all stood up, cheering for Usagi. Everyone, Usagi thought as her eyes became teary. Cheering from the entire class stopped the booing, Erase Your Head said. At least I don't have to scold the spectators again. OMG, my class, my babies. They're all so sweet and supportive. Speed Girl cried overdramatically as she held a handkerchief in the mouth. Yuwa, are you okay, Speed Girl? Present Mike asked with a sweat drop. Usagi slapped her cheeks, looking even more determined. Yuki Drago noticed this and made a small smirk. Okay, this time it is for real, Usagi called out as she then began fighting. But instead of doing the same thing, she was actually fighting much seriously. Yuki Drago kept dodging or blocking. But he was also getting to fight seriously, as he also threw in some of his tail whip attacks. Whoa, it seems like both fighters became more serious. Usagi and Drago are now throwing actual punches and kicks to it, Present Mike exclaimed. Usagi kicked, but Drago blocked it with his hand and threw her up into the air. I won't fall that easily, Drago-kun, Usagi yelled. Kick this. From the air, she was going to kick right into him. But to counter it, he breathed out a flamethrower at her, causing some gasps from the spectators and some of my classmates. However, despite getting crisp and burned, Usagi was still coming for a kick at Yuki. But he quickly reacted by grabbing her foot and then throwing her off again. But this time, off the arena. Kaya-ah! Usagi hit the ground outside the arena's boundary. Everyone went, Yuwa, especially my classmates. I was also surprised for myself as my heart was racing during the whole fight. But now, the winner is Yuki Drago, Midnight announced as the people cheered. As the crowds cheered for him, nobody, except probably my class, noticed Usagi was crying frustratingly. A little later after the match, Usagi was being attended by Recovery Girl and her assistant, Miss Heel at the temporary nurse's office in the stadium. Usagi. The entire girls from my class, and some of us guys came to visit her as we stormed into the nurse's office. We saw Usagi relaxing on the infirmary bed. Ah, holy carrot, you guys scared me, Usagi screamed. Hey, you kids shouldn't just come in here, Recovery Girl scolded us. We're sorry, ma'am, but we just came to see how our classmate is doing, Felicia reasoned. Well, fortunately, your classmate, Usagi-san here is all right. Miss Recovery Girl and I healed her, and she is ready to go back, Miss Heel explained. This may or may not be my first time. Miss Heel here was Recovery Girl's assistant. She is a young woman, probably around in her 20s. She wears a standard nurse uniform, but all in pink color with a red heart for her emblem on her nurse's hat. Overall, she is a very kind person, more easygoing than Recovery Girl and less strict. Name Miss Heel. Quirk. Damage scan. By using her eyes and touches, she can sense which part of the human body is damaged, and whether if that person also has a problem in his or her organs, and if Hesh is also ill. Very useful quirk, but not so much useful in combat. But who cares if she is such a Yahoo nurse? Narrated by Present Mike. Miss Heel's sweat dropped in response to what Present Mike said about her in his narration. But anyway. Don't worry, guys. I am fine right now, see? Usagi got up from the bed. But as soon as she did, her back cracked, and she fell like a soft noodle. You're not fine at all, Felicia, Makoto, and Muru exclaimed. Hey now, don't overdo yourself. Even though I recovered you, you shouldn't overwork yourself, even if you are feeling well, Recover Girl warned. But you can go back now. If you do feel unwell still, just come to us, okay? Miss Heel said kindly. Thank you, Recovery Girl and Miss Heel, Usagi thanked them. We all went to see the next match, and it was between Ile and Tatsumi. Watashi ga Kita. A big, muscular man in mixed colorful uniform landed on the ground. He stood up and smiled. I am here, All Might exclaimed. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? I hope all of you are doing well during this difficult and scary time. You all are probably thinking, why am I here then? Well, actually, I am here for an important message to you all, good boys and girls, and also adults alike. Number 1. Remember to wash your hands with soup, for at least 20 seconds. All Might said as he demonstrated by washing his own hands. Always do this after you use the toilet or before you eat food. Of course, if you don't have a soup in hand, you can also use a hand sanitizer. Number 2. When you are feeling you need to sneeze, use your arms to cover your mouth when you do, All Might said as he had his arm ready. Speaking off a hachu. Number 3. Wear a mask if you are going out somewhere where there will be people, like at grocery store. This is way to help prevent the spread of germ when you cough or sneeze, All Might said with a mask on. But remember to use your arm, not your hand. Number 4. When going outside, always keep a safe distance about 6 feet apart from each other. This is so that virus and other harmful germs cannot easily infect from one person to another. All Might explained as he kept a safe distance from UA students, whose were Midoriya, Ochako, and Todoroki, who were all happened to be wearing a mask. And number 5. If you are feeling not too well or sick, contact your doctor and visit them if required and stay at home to self-quarantine yourself. If you live with someone, like a friend or your family, they may show with similar symptoms. Also, they would need to self-quarantine, too, for at least 2 weeks, or by doctor's instructions. All Might explained as he was dressed as a nurse with Bakugo playing as the sick person in bed. Hey, why the hell am I playing as the sick patient? Bakugo shouted. Now, Bakugo come. Drink your medicine now. All Might said as he forcefully made Bakugo drink a medicine, which he didn't like at all. If you follow these 5 important parts, you can get through this pandemic, and not only that, but doing your parts and being responsible in your health for yourself can save many lives and help others. Doctors, nurses, grocery store workers, and all essential workers are risking their life every day to keep the world going. So do your parts, and you can be a hero too, All Might announced. Stay well, everyone, and like I always say. Plus Ultra, all the casts of My Hero Academia and the fanfic stories gathered together. Stay at home, or I'll murder you all, Bakugo screamed at the end. Bakugo-kun, you don't need to sound so scary, All Might assured with sweat drop. Chapter 6. Reasoning. The tournament continued. There were only 3 matches left for the first round, and the next one was between my 2 classmates, Eli and Tatsumi. Hey, no hard feeling at all, but I'll do whatever I can to win this, Eli called out to Tatsumi. Indeed, same thing to you, too, Tatsumi replied determinedly. The tournament continues. The next match is between the Bug Master of Many Forms, Alex Francisco Barberos versus Tatsumi Curate, Present Mike exclaimed, getting the crowds excited. It's time to show the world what I can do, as my favorite kind of hero, Tatsumi declared as he pulled out and showed off his mixed driver. The driver turned into a belt as he attached it around his waist. He then took out 2 bottles and inserted them into the driver. Electricity, earphone, best mix. The driver talked in its voice. Mixing time. Wait, what did it just say? Gyro asked. Electricity? Kaminari said. Tatsumi's belt shined in a swirling color in the middle of the driver's center buckle. It's mixing time. Rock and roll. Let's go. Kamen Rider mix. He transformed into his Kamen Rider suit. This version of the suit was a mix of yellow and silver colors with the same bug-like visors for the eyes, except one of them was shaped by lightning, and the other was almost a shape of a microphone. His hair was exposed, only to be a bit spiker than normal. The spectators were most impressed when Tatsumi transformed, including even some of the UA students. "Whoa, I didn't expect that kid to transform," one pro hero commented. "He looks like one of those TV superheroes." "What was it called?" another asked. "I think it was called Kamen Rider," one other pro hero answered. "That's right, he's a Kamen Rider," another pro hero stated. "So his costume is based on Kamen Rider." "An interesting idea," a female pro hero commented. "Wow, now that is something you don't see every day. Here at our very own US Stadium, the first time in history, we have a real-life Kamen Rider," President Mike announced excitedly. "Wow, a Kamen Rider. What do you think, Deku?" Ochako asked. But when she did, she already noticed he was writing down in his notebook very seriously. "Amazing. So, Tatsumi has some kind of quirk that allows him to transform into Kamen Rider. Though, I wonder what kind of power he uses," Deku mumbled to himself. "Geez, you're already becoming popular," Eli commented. "I think I'm getting a bit jealous." "Let the match begin," Midnight started. Eli roared. Tatsumi got into his fighting pose as both of their punch collided. "Wow, they're so strong," Ashido awed. "No kidding," Kirishima exclaimed. "I remember watching a Kamen Rider when I was a kid. But seeing one in real life, it's so cool," Zero said excitedly. "Mantis Scythe." Ili transformed his arms into the scythe arms of a mantis. Tatsumi stepped back, but not before he stopped in front of the boundary line. "Yes, got you into a corner already," Eli stated. "I won't be defeated that easily, Eli," Tatsumi replied. "Kick this." Suddenly, 2 earphone jacks came out from his arms as he placed his hands on the ground with the 2 jacks staved into the ground. "Hey, wait a minute. That guy is copying my quirk," Gyro noticed. "You're right, Gyro," Ashido pointed out. "Does that mean he has a copy quirk like that Nito jerk from Class 1B? "Stupid Class 1A," Nito mumbled discreetly. Earphone jack quake. He emitted a sound wave through the ground, creating a shake in the ground like an earthquake and a big crack with it, too. Whoa. Eli was losing his balance as the ground shook beneath him. Crap. He quickly reacted by growing insect wings from his back and flew off from the shaking ground for safety. "Haha, miss," Eli stated. "You won't get away from me that easily," Tatsumi said as he pointed his finger like a gun at Eli in the air. 1,000,000-volt electro bullet. An electrical current that shot straight like a bullet shot at Eli, shocking him. But just before he got zapped, he shielded himself with both his arms up covered in a hard shell, like a beetle. Harg, he got paralyzed and fell down the ground. Holy carrot. Now, that was shocking. Usagi was surprised with no pun intended. "Is Eli-san okay?" Arisa asked, looking worried. "Hey, that's like my quirk," Kaminari shouted. "What a strange quirk. How could that young man has both Gyro-san's and Kaminari-san's quirks at the same time?" Momo asked. "Even though he got shocked, like how I use my quirk, I don't think Eli is down for," Kaminari pointed out. Name Tatsumi Kurata. Quirk. Mixer. By watching other quirk users and see how they use it, he can create quirk bottles. By mixing 2 quirk bottles with his mix driver, he can transform into Kamen Rider mix, with the 2 quirks from the quirk bottles he used. With this kind of quirk, the combination he can make with 2 quirks is an endless possibility, but he can only use them for a limited time. Midnight looked over at Eli. As she was going to put up the flag for Tatsumi, that was when. "Hold on," he yelled out, stopping Midnight before she got a chance to say anything. I have not kicked the bucket yet, teach Midnight," Eli said as he slowly got back up. "I can still fight." "Wow, what a youth." Midnight blushed as the crowds cheered. Name Alex Eli Francisco Barberos. Quirk, Bug Body. He can transform any parts of his body into an insect body part, like his arms for Scythe of Mantis or wings of a butterfly on his back. However, he could only transform each body part one at a time. "Wow, amazing. These 2 are amazing. What is up with your class, too, Speed Girl?" President Mike asked, feeling excited. "They are my sweet students. We may be the smallest class, but we are unique and strong in our own right," Speed Girl commented. "Wow, they are both so amazing. Everyone here is just incredible," Arisa thought aloud, which only I heard. "This fight is just starting," Eli said aloud. "And it's going to get a bit stinky." "Huh?" Tatsumi looked confused when Eli said what he said. "Stink bug fart?" Eli suddenly made the biggest, if not the loudest fart that nobody ever heard. The fart covered the entire arena like a smoke. But the most horrible part was the utter odor that came with it. "Pu, what is this smell?" one of the female pro hero complained as she pinched her nose. "Holy carrot, it stinks!" Usagi screamed as she was crying from the horrible stench of the smell. "Now I understand what he meant by stinky," I thought as I covered my mouth and nose. I can't see anything in this smoke, and barely can breathe," Tatsumi said as he looked around. Ah, something moved past by him as it gave him a cut. It was Eli with his mantis scythe arms again. He was attacking inside the smoke. "If I stay here, I'm just sitting duck," Tatsumi noted as he connected his earphone jacks to arms. Sonic wave. A loud noise echoed from his arms, which acted like speakers. The sound wave cleared the fart smoke away, revealing Eli from his hiding. "Oh, damn it. I thought my fart would distract your senses. But you're tough, Tatsumi," Eli said. "Thank you. I have to admit that your bug body quirk is very strong and quite usability," Tatsumi replied. "But I won't give up. I will win this fight and prove to the world." "Prove to what? What are you talking about?" Eli asked. "When I win this match and the sports festival tournament, I hope by showing off my quirk and Kamen Rider Mix's suit, I can revive and inspire people about the tokusatsu hero into reality. There are just as not many tokusatsu hero like in the past. Most have retired, and not many people take the mantle to be one. There are some out there, but most of them work at television or entertainment events. My dream is to revive it and make it into a real hero profession, like any other type of pro heroes in real life, not just for entertainment for young children. That is my goal and my drive to win this tournament," Tatsumi explained. "Tatsumi," Eli said softly, then grinned. "Well, I think that is a radical, cool idea. I will support you. But I also want to win, too. Show me what you got." "What friendship and understanding," Present Mike commented excitedly. And a very inspiring moment by Tatsumi Kirata. "Mixing time, final mix attack," the driver announced as electrical energy surged through his right foot. And then he jumped up in the air. "Grasshopper legs." Eli transformed his legs into a grasshopper's legs. And then he jumped in the air, too. "Mix rider kick," Tatsumi shouted as he and Eli shouted at each other. They intersected each other, looking like both hits each other at the same time. They both landed back on the arena ground at the same time. There was a moment of silence until Tatsumi's suit dissipated and collapsed. The crowds cheered, seeing the victor of the fight, as Eli raised his fist for his victory. "Yeah, way to go, Eli," Usagi hopped as she cheered. "Awesome," Denki praised. "What a spectacle match. Both of them did well," Felicia commented. "Congratulations to both Eli and Tatsumi," Speed Girl congratulated them. "Wait a second. Midnight hasn't declared Alex as the winner yet," Mr. Aizawa noted. "Oh yeah, that's right," Present Mike remembered as he checked on over to see Midnight. "What happened to Midnight?" The commentators noticed that Midnight was at present, but she was temporarily out due to Eli's previous attack. "Oh no, what happened to our referee?" Present Mike gasped. "I think due to Eli's, surprise attack, it caused her to faint," Mr. Aizawa pointed out. Eli noticed the fainted referee. "Oh God, what happened, Miss Teach Midnight? Why did you faint?" Everyone in my entire class, and some from class 1 said the same thing in their mind. "You're the one who did it." The tournament decided to take a 5-minute break. Fortunately, Midnight was fully recovered by then and was ready to continue. "Anyway, this match's victor goes to Eli of Class 1L, Midnight declared as the crowds cheered again. "She recovered fast," Maru noted. Right after this match, 2 more matches were presented. The first one was between one of the bully trio, Larry versus my classmate, Junko Neru. Miraculously, she won the match due to her competitor tried to push her, but she dodged or rather fell asleep when he ran towards and accidentally stepped out of the boundary too far. The next and last match for the first round was between Kirishima from Class 1A and Tetsu from Class 1B. They both have a similar kind of quirk. The former could harden his body, while the latter could become hard as iron. Both collided and fought until they both KO'd each other. I did not find the match too exciting, but both fighters gave out their best and ended in a draw, which they will make them fight again to move on to the second round by doing arm wrestling after they are recovered. A 10-minute break was announced. I decided to get myself a drink by myself, or so I thought. "Kai," I turned around and saw Arisa. "Arisa?" I replied. "Man, the tournament is sure exciting, isn't it?" she asked with a smile. "I've never seen everyone fight like that." Yeah, it is exhilarating," I commented. "You know, Kai," Arisa said as she looked a bit calmer, and sort of sad despite her small smile. Everyone in the current tournament is doing their best because they made it here so far. They are amazing, including you, too. Yeah. So, what about it? I asked, sensing that she wanted to say something. Well, it is just that seeing how everyone's fighting, I feel like it inspires me to do better. Even though I have a quirk and all, I do not like to fight because I do not like violence and all. It is weird, right? A person like me in a hero course does not like to fight because I dislike violence. There are times I think about that, and I always think if I am fit in here, if you know what I mean. I looked at her, not saying a word for seconds until she gasped a bit. Oh, my apology. I don't know what I just said. Please forget what I said, she said as she was about to run away until. No, you're not wrong about how you feel, I said as she stopped to listen. It's not like people becomes a hero to fight villain because they like violence or whatever. They fight because they have many reasons to be a hero, like how Tatsumi fought. He did it not because of its violence, but he wanted to show off his skills and influence the watchers that tokusatsu hero can be strong like a real pro hero. Yeah, the fight between him and Eli was a bit rough, but they did it for a reason. Maybe you just need to ask yourself what you want to do. What I want to do, Arisa repeated. Well, a 10-minute break is almost up. I'm going back, I said. Arisa and I returned to our seat. I wondered why she asked that question. I could guess the most obvious reason, but that was not my concern right now. The tournament continued where it left off with the draw. Kurashima and Tetsutetsu fought in an arm wrestling to decide who make it to the second round. This rattled the crowds due to their manliness. In the end, Kurashima won the match. I had to admit that they were both strong. The first match of the second round was one that a lot of people were waited to see. It was between Izuku Midoriya and Hyoga Todoroki. How could I explain their match in just one word? My answer was this: stupendous. Todoroki won, using the other half of his quirk power. It seemed like if he kept using his cold power, it would backfire against him. But using his other half, the hot power, it would keep him safe. That Midoriya used his power to counter back with every of Todoroki's attacks. For some reason, I had a feeling that he seemed to try to say something to Todoroki as if he wanted to make him use his full power. I did not quite understand why he did this, but somehow it worked, and their battle ended incredibly. No battle after this could top this, or at least that was I thought. I learned that Todoroki's father is that number 2 hero, Endeavor. I did not know much about their relationship, but I knew about Endeavor. I heard it from my parents and sister a long time ago. He was like the opposite of All Might. Not that he is evil was what I mean, but he was prideful, arrogant, and plain out not a friendly person I have ever seen. I had no clue why the guy acts the way he is, but there are some people in the pro hero profession like that. They may save a lot of lives, but they only did for the money, fame, and whatever materialistic or emotional reasons. The next match was the long-awaited one. It was me against my classmate, Yuki Drago. As I walked down the hallway to the arena, a familiar person was standing by the wall on my way. Hey Kai, said the person. Oh, Lola? I recognized the upper senior. What are you doing here? Oh, well, I am here to say some bad news to you, Lola said, looking sad. What's wrong? I asked. Well, unfortunately, the teachers told me that they would need to postpone our performance to the end of the tournament due to the recent fights, lasting a bit longer than expected. Lola said sadly, but changed her mood to peppier. But we'll still get to perform. That's good to hear, I said, with a small grin. In all honesty, I did not want to perform, but I had to grin to make her feel better, at least. Also, I am here to say good luck to you in your fight, she said. You're facing against your classmate, right? Are you scared? Nervous? Well, not really, I said. That was only half of the truth. I was not scared, but I did know that I did not think I can win this fight. So this was my chance to forfeit myself. Oh, I see. Well, you are even braver than I thought. Lola chuckled as I sighed a bit. But I am relieved. It seems like you are aware of what you are facing. I guess there was no reason for me to come here, all worried. All the new freshmen here are giving their all, even more than when I was a one-saint year. Well, do your best out there. I'll be cheering you on, Lola said happily as she gave me a wink and then walked away. I wondered why she mentioned that she came here to see me worried. What she said then was strange to me, as if she knew what I was thinking. Nah, it was probably my imagination. I shrugged off the thought and went out to the arena. The crowds cheered just as I entered the arena. Here on this side, we have the promising lad. Present Mike was interrupted when my sister butted in. It is the one and only Kai Uno, Speed Girl announced loudly as the crowds cheered. Hey, Speed Girl. It's my job to announce the student's name at the start of the fight. President Mike scolded. Just keep going. Who cares who does it first? Mr. Aizawa said. Look, honey, our son is out, my mother shouted. She was called by her pro-hero's name, Miss Galactica. Next to her was my father, called by Time Lord. He took his time a bit. He is almost a half-minute late, but he showed up, he noted, looking at his watch. My mother sighed at his remark. Come on, dear. Can't you say something a bit nicer about him? She asked. The fight is starting, Time Lord said, ignoring what she said as she pouted with her cheek in response. Ahem. As I was saying until I was rudely interrupted, on the other side, we have the third powerhouse of the tournament. Give it up for Yuki Drago, President Mike announced. As the name stated, the crowds even cheered louder. I would admit that Yuki here was probably as equally as popular as Todoroki and Bakugo. Thanks to his performance so far in this sports festival, he deserved the title of the powerhouse. Yuki Drago is also Kai Uno's classmate, so this is another classmate crash. Who will win? Who will survive? Let the fight begin, President Mike commented. Not to be a bit biased, but my brother was trained to get here this far, and he won't go down so easily, even by my other student, including Yuki himself, Speed Girl added while twiddling her thumbs. Aizawa Aka erased her head. The homeroom teacher of Class 1A noticed my sister's twiddling. Whenever she twiddled her fingers, it meant that she was nervous, and she had every right to be nervous because. Let the match begin, Midnight declared. Both Yuki and I got into a fighting stance. This fight was later to be known as the most horrific, yet almost dangerous fight in the history of the UA Sports Festival. Chapter 7. Power Unleashed. The tournament entered the third round. There were only some participants left, including myself. However, this was where I decided to not go on. You are probably wondering why I did not want to go on. Well, you will see it here. Let the match begin, Midnight declared as the spectators cheered, and the bell rang like in a wrestling match. I got into a fighting stance, but I will purposely forfeit myself after I pretend that I was trying my best. I ran towards my opponent and classmate, Yuki Drago. He allowed me to ram into him as he held tights around near his waist, and then pushed him. Yuki Drago did the same to me, but I tried pushing as hard as I can. And here we go. The match began, and it seems like it started like a sumo wrestling, President Mike commented. So, Speed Girl, do you think your little brother will win? I have confidence in my brother, but no matter what happens, I will be proud if either of my students in this match moves on to the semi-final and finale, Speed Girl answered, though looked a bit concerned. I just hope that nothing bad happens. President Mike and Aizawa Aka erase your head looked puzzling to Speed Girl's word, especially Aizawa the most, but they kept watching over my match. At this point, I managed to push Yuki almost to the edge of the arena. The crowds cheered louder, but there was also some bit of criticism in the crowds. This isn't interesting at all, said one pro hero. Yeah, I mean, we have seen much more interesting matches than this. Show us more, the other spectator shouted. Come on, Yuki Drago. Show us how you played in the other matches and games. Just do something, another spectator yelled. Some of the spectators began booing at us. The other students, including my other classmates, looked over at the dissatisfied spectators booing at us. What's wrong with these people? Kai and Yuki are doing their best, Usagi argued. I don't like this, too, Eli said. It isn't nice. Yeah, but so far, neither of them is showing anything interesting, Felicia pointed out. True. It is just a simple who gets to push out of the arena first, Maruto added. But still, that doesn't mean that these people should say nasty things at them, Arisa stated sadly. Though, it seems like Kai is going to win. That's what it looks like. But I don't think Yuki will go down this so easily, Maru pointed out. I think he's up to something. My father, Time Lord, sighed and stood up from his chair as he began walking away. Wait, honey, where are you going? My mother queried. Let us go now, dear. We already spend enough time here, Time Lord insisted strictly. Back at the arena, I managed to push him just one more step for him to be outbound. But there was where I will purposely slip myself, and then fell forward out of the arena when I push Yuki to the side, so that he is still on the platform. I initiated my plan. I pushed him to the side, which he was surprised when it did. I slipped myself out of bound as I was falling off from the platform. Once I landed on the grass, everything will go to plan. Midnight will declare I lose, and Yuki can move on to the semifinal. Suddenly, however, I stopped falling. I was confused at first, but then realized that something grabbed me around my waist. It looked like a reptilian-like tail that was holding me from falling. I soon realized that it was Yuki. What the? Present Mike gasped as the audience and my classmates had the same expression. That was when my father stopped and turned around to see what had just happened. Kai Uno was about to fall off from the platform, but Yuki Drago stopped him from falling by using his tail to grab him in time. Present Mike exclaimed. Why would he do that when he could just have allowed his opponent to do that is unknown. Just why? I asked myself as I was pulled back onto the platform. Yuki stared at me intensely, and he seemed to not look too pleasant at me. Yuki said in a provoking tone. You tried to forfeit this match on purpose, did you? My eyes widened in response. I knew Yuki was smart, but I did not know that he actually would figure out what I planned to do. Since the start of today. No, since the day of the entrance exam, I was interested in you, Yuki said. Wait, what? I said, perplexed. I saw you when you fought the robot during the entrance exam that day. I have never seen anyone can destroy such a monstrous object with just a single punch. Since then, I became curious about you. I wondered every day about what kind of quirk you have and see myself how strong it is, he explained. Learning that you are Speed Girl's young brother led to me finding out that you are also the son of the famous pro-hero wed couple, Time Lord and Miss Galactica. Yeah, that is right. I am their son, I said honestly. Then, it is true. Because of your heritage, you also should have awesome power. A powerful quirk like your older sibling and your parents. I want to see that power of yours, and I thought this fight will be my chance to see it and test myself to fight against it, Yuki said before he looked sour. But you were trying to forfeit on purpose. You were going to lose on purpose. I won't allow any cowardly acts in my match. Suddenly, his wings spread out as he began flapping. He still had the bandage around his injured one, but it seemed like he could be able to fly again as he jumped up and flew in the air. What is Yuki Drago up to? Present Mike asked. The next thing he did was unpredictable. He breathed out fire from his mouth as he encircled around the platform. Even Midnight and Cementos, who was the proctor of the tournament, moved away from the fire. It had surrounded me. Yuki Drago landed back on the ground with the fire raging around us, trapping us within. Holy cow! Yuki Drago turned the arena into a fiery ring. Just what is he doing? Present Mike exclaimed. Seriously, what is up with Yuki? He is mad, Eli sputtered. The whole platform is on fire, yelled Minta, one of the students from Class 1A. Oh my god, Ribbit, Tsuyu gasped. This is... Ochako was speechless. Incredible, Izuku marveled, yet also afraid. Now, there is no way for you to try to forfeit or escape. You will fight me with your quirk, whether you like it or not, he exclaimed as he roared. I could not believe this was happening. Why couldn't he just let me lose on purpose? Why was he doing this? So many questions and emotions ran through my head that I almost forgot that I was still in the match. Fight me, Kaiuno. If you won't make a move, then I shall do it first. Yuki Drago flew towards me and punched me in the stomach. Gah! I gasped as he got punched in the stomach. I have pushed away, close to the fire, but managed to stop due to the friction. Midnight, Cementos said through his earphone. This is too crazy and dangerous. Yuki Drago needs to be stopped or else he and Kai Uno will get hurt by this fire, mostly for Kai. Yeah, we should. Just as she was going to say something, Yuki Drago roared that his roar echoed through the entire stadium. Everyone inside and outside heard it, making them not do anything except watching the fight. This, one of the pro heroes said. Exciting. Suddenly, the entire spectators were wooing with excitement and sweats. A lot of them were standing up from their seats, cheering and roaring with excitement. All the US students looked at the face of the spectators, as they could not believe it. Just what is going on? Arisa asked. They're all cheering? Usagi looked confused. They're excited about Kai and Yuki's match. For Yuki turning the arena into a fire ring match. Everyone got excited unlike a few seconds ago, Makoto explained. This is just purely fearful and amazing, AI commented. Meanwhile, Junko Neru, another classmate from my class, was sleeping through it all, but she slightly opened her eyes, revealing a bit of violet-red color, as if she knew what was exactly happening right now, but nobody noticed her. Face me, Kaiuno, fight me. Yuki Drago continued his attack as he punched, scratched, and even kicked me. With a bit of my focus regained, I blocked every of his move with my arms up, taking in each of his punches, scratches, and kicks. But I didn't know how long I can last. Yuki Drago went back and shot some fireballs from a distance. I saw it coming, so I ran from it, trying not to touch the fireballs. You cannot keep running and blocking my attack, Kai. You will eventually have to attack back, he yelled. Suddenly, his tail stretched that it reached one of my feet and grabbed it. When I noticed that he got me, it was too late for me to react, as he didn't give me the time to. He began to use his tail to swirl me around like a towel, and then slam me to the ground 3 times. Stand up, Kai Uno, stand up and fight me, Yuki Drago shouted as I laid down with my face down. I felt so many pains throughout my body. I don't know why you don't want to fight me, but I don't care whatever reason it is. I can just throw you off the platform right now, but I am not that kind of person. I don't accept my opponent's loss without he or she gave it all, and I know that you can give it all if you just show some bit of effort. Everyone in this festival, currently still here, and ones who are out have given out their best. But you who made this far decide to forfeit on purpose shows such disrespect to others who tried to come this far. You will use your quirk and fight full on. Stand up now, or do you even want to be a hero? Yuki Drago demanded. Everyone watched with anticipation, wonder what will happen next. Is it just me, or that Yuki Drago boy is trying to persuade Kai Uno to fight? All Might pondered. This is just annoying, I mumbled. Yuki Dragon heard faintly to what I said as he raised his left eyebrow. Why? Why don't you just shut up? Green energy radiated out of my body, raising my hair. The outburst of my energy created a sonic boom that swept over the entire stadium, blowing away even the fire ring. Whoa, Eli shouted as he held on, while a strong wind blew through my classmates and everyone in their seats. What is this? What is happening? Present Mike said hysterically. Kai, Speed Girl exclaimed. I roared at the top of my lung as the upper half of my clothes burned into ashes, revealing something that I didn't want anyone other my relatives to see. The mechanical-like suit was attached to my body with a single green lens in the middle of the chest. My hair was now partially green and bit spiky. So is this your true power? Your quirk? Yuki Drago questioned as he then smirked. I see now that you are going to give it all yours then. The green aura around me became stable as the winds became calmer. Everybody watched with their mouth wide opened, except for Mr. Aizawa, who had bandages all over his face except for his eyes. Kai, just who or what are you? Arisa asked, looking pretty scared. You wanted to see my quirk. Then, I will show you, I exclaimed as I jumped forward with my fist ready, glowing in green energy. Yuki Drago took the surprise sucker punch in the face. At the moment I punched him, a powerful sound was made. It almost sounded like a bomb went off. Wow, what a punch, Usagi exclaimed. I punched at him more, each making a booming sound. Yuki Drago stopped both my fists and struck back with a headbutt. Then, he flapped his wings to create a wind to distract me. However, that didn't stop me. I walked slowly towards him. Slowly, but surely, I pushed through the strong gust caused by the flaps of his wings. Once I got close enough, I quickly grabbed his tail. He roared in pain when I dragged him and slammed him to the ground. It was a payback for the same thing he did to me. Speed Girl, just what is up with your brother? What kind of quirk is he using? Present Mike asked. We need to stop this match immediately. If this goes on, I don't know if Kai can handle the pressure, Speed Girl said. What do you mean by that? Aizawa asked in a serious tone. Tell us what you know, Speed Girl. You think you can use the same trick on me as I did to you? Yuki Drago said. Well, I can use my tail for other things, Kai Uno. Suddenly, his tail twirled around my right arm as I was holding it. Then, he slammed me to the ground and threw me away. I grabbed onto the platform with my fingers, causing the friction to help myself to stop, so I won't go off the edge. Yuki Drago shot some fireballs at me. Instead of dodging this time, I just ran towards him as I took the burn damage. I tackled him down, but he responded well and quickly flew off while I was holding on to him. Everyone watched as we soared higher and higher into the sky. This is good. No, this feels great. I've never seen anyone fight this hard before, Yuki Drago exclaimed as his face showed excitement and enjoyment. He was probably on adrenaline from enjoying our fight here, but I couldn't blame him. I was on the adrenaline too, but for other reasons. However, I won't back down. Kai Uno, only one of us will make it, and that will be I. Yuki Bear hugged me and used his tails again to twirl around my legs to prevent any movement I could make. What are you doing? I asked. even though I already had the bright idea of what he was planning to do next. He flew higher and higher until it was high enough. Then he skydived down. He was aiming to crush me down to the platform so that he could comb me. "Are you crazy? We are going to get hurt if we crash down," I shouted. "This will injure you the most than me, but do not worry. I slowed down once we reached the ground close enough," he replied as we were skydiving downwards. "I admit that you are a good fighter, Kai, probably the strongest I've faced. But this is the end of the line for you. Just why? Just why is it that I am fighting this guy? Why am I still here? All I wanted to is lose this match. I didn't want to fight. And yet," my right hand started glowing with green energy. I don't want to back down for some reason," I pondered as my right arm was able to get out of his bear hug. "What?" Yuki Drago's eyes widened. Nah. I gave him the strongest punch I can muster. At the moment, we crashed back to the platform, causing a big crater in the center. Debris of dust and particles erupted upwards when we crashed down. Everyone was flabbergasted with their mouth wide opened, and their eyes popped out. Once the clouds of dust were cleared, everyone watched as only one person was still standing. It was me. Yuki Drago is knocked out. The winner of this match is Kai Uno," Midnight declared. The crowds cheered, but just as I did, I screamed painfully enough that it stopped the cheering from the crowds. No. Did I? Used a lot of my energy? I couldn't breathe as my heart was beating rapidly, and it was going faster. The green lens on my metal suit was flashing red. Suddenly, my body began to glow green as steam started coming out of my body. "What is going on? Why is Kai steaming out?" Ili asked. Kai is hurting," Urisa shouted. "Hey, why is that lens on his metal suit flashing red?" Maruto asked, pointing at it. Commotions and concerns increased among the spectators. "Oh no," Speed Girl exclaimed as she quickly ran towards the exit door. "We got to Kai somewhere safely." "Wait, Speed Girl," Aizawa shouted. "Come back." Present Mike grabbed her arms. "Just tell us what is going on. What is happening to your student and brother? If we don't get him out of here, away from everyone, we all will die," Speed Girl stated. "Say what?" Both him and Aizawa gasped. "Kai." My classmates and friends shouted my name, but I couldn't hear it. It was this moment when I was feeling lightheaded. My sight was losing focus as everything around me began to look fuzzy. "Am I going to die?" I asked myself as I began closing my eyes. "Time stop," a familiar male voice shouted. Chapter 8. Genesis. It was several hours after the sports festival. While all the students, guests, and spectators went back home, the teachers and staff were at the UA. They were all waiting in the meeting room. Aizawa, the homeroom teacher of Class 1A, checked his watch. It was getting late. "What's taking so long?" Hanzo asked impatiently. "It is very late now," Sniper pointed out. "But Principal Nezu did call all of us here and wait for him," Midnight stated. "We should wait a little longer." "I wonder if this is what happened at today's sports festival," Power Loader thought aloud. "Most likely. No, probably definitely," Present Mike admitted. "It explains why Speed Girl is not present." Everyone looked concerned and sad when Speed Girl was mentioned, though Aizawa looked indifferent as he usually did. Especially All Might, who was now in his weakened form. He looked over at the empty chair. That was when they turned to the door opening. "Sorry to keep you all waiting," Principal Nezu chirped as he entered the room. "Principal Nezu, where were you all this time? We've been waiting here at your order, but not keeping the time as a promise is unprofessional," Hanzo scolded strictly. "The reason for that is my fault. But for me to ask Principal Nezu to make you all wait means you should all give me some of your time, if that is all right with you all." They all turned their attention to the figure who entered the room behind Nezu. "Time Lord," everyone gasped. "HMPH, fine. But just make this quick." "Waiting too long makes my blood boil," Hanzo said as he pulled in his hair and sat down, looking grumpy. "Thank you, Hanzo-kun and everyone here," Principal Nezu said. "As you all know about what happened at today's sports festival, I can assure you all that the involved parties, specifically Kai Uno and Yuki Drago, are all safe and sound." Hearing that news made the atmosphere of the room lighter. "That's a relief," All Might thought aloud. "However, my son, Kai, he is still in a critical state. His recovery will take a while," Time Lord added, causing the atmosphere of the room heavier. "However, that is not what I am here to talk to you all. I am here to talk about his quirk." Everyone became interested and curious. To explain his quirk, I need to explain something significant so that you can all understand. But it will be a bit of a long story because I have to begin from the very beginning, Time Lord said. My staff here is all very patient, Time Lord. We are all here to listen to your story, Principal Nezu assured. Thank you, Principal Nezu, Time Lord. Before I begin my story, have you all heard of the country, Monovakia? Everyone looked puzzled. Monovakia? Snipe repeated. Never heard of it, Hanzo said. Did you say Monovakia? All Might asked, making everyone look at him. Ah, good. At least one person in this room knows about the country, and not too surprising from the #1 pro hero, Time Lord said as he rolled his eyes. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Hanzo badgered. Hanzo-kun, please calm down, Principal Nezu said seriously as the latter responded and sat back. Please explain, Time Lord. I think everyone needs a refresher on history. All in due time, Principal Nezu, Time Lord responded. As I was saying, it's no surprise if not all of you recognize or heard of Monovakia. It is a small Eastern European country landlocked between Georgia and Russia. Despite its small geography and only less than 1 million in population, it is a thriving nation. However, it wasn't always like it is now. What do you mean? Snipe asked. It all began in 1896. A young boy was born. He was born in a family of 7 and the only son in the family. Unfortunately, his family was poor farmers. Even more, his siblings didn't even make it to their adulthood, and even his parents died due to unknown cause. Whoa, really? Present Mike was surprised. SHH, Aizawa silenced him. It was indeed tragic. Despite this, however, the young boy was a smart kid, a brilliant kid he was. He was determined to get out of his poor life. Fortunately, he was adopted into a wealthy family, thanks to his special gift. And before I continue, remember about this gift for later on. Gift, All Might repeated. Everyone else looked at one another, and was even curious to hear the rest of his strange story. Continuing, at the age of 18, he joined the military to fight on the Eastern Front. It was the start of the First World War. The boy, who at this time was a man, fought bravely in the war. However, like his family, most of his comrades also passed due to the war. When the war was over in 1918, things changed with the man. Change? What kind of change? Midnight asked. The man soon discovered, though subconsciously knowing it since he was a young boy, that he was no ordinary man. He was one of the first-generation quirk users, Time Lord revealed. So, this user realized that the special gift was his quirk. But what does this all have to do with your son? Hanzo asked impatiently. I will get to that, Time Lord answered, looking a bit annoyed. As I was saying, however, the man didn't quite use this quirk for the good of the world, but rather he used this quirk for his ulterior motive, and that was to rule his beloved country and expand its power and influence over the globe. And so, in 1928, he became a politician, and in 2 years, he became the leader of Monovakia. And as shameful for me to mention this, my wife permitted me to say this. What is it? Cementos asked as everyone was even more curious and waiting with anticipation. That man, who lived through the tragedy of his family death, and the First World War that also tragically almost destroyed his home country, was none other than the infamous, yet most powerful villain who lived in the golden age of pro heroes. Atomic Atom, Time Lord exclaimed. Everyone gasped. Nanny? Atomic Atom? Present Mike gasped. I heard of that name before, Cementos said in a surprised tone. He was a ruthless villain a long time ago who ruled an entire country. But I didn't know that he ruled this Monovakia. If I remember correctly, his quirk was something to do with controlling nuclear energy, Midnight said with a cold sweat. That's right. His quirk was indeed to control nuclear energy. He is the energy itself. Atomic Atom was the world's infamous yet greatest villain of all time. He ruled the country with an iron fist, thanks to his quirk. That quirk helped to power his military. Not even Adolf Hitler or Stalin, 2 of the infamous dictators of the 20th century, could lay a finger and fight back Atomic Atom. The world was feared by him and known by many, and few worshipped him. However, wasn't he defeated by the pro-heroes during the war? Ectoplasm asked. That's correct. Atomic Atom was ultimately defeated by the pro-heroes, who were the pro-heroes of the Golden Age, one of the many first-generation quirk users who used their quirk to fight for good and justice, Time Lord stated. Okay, but what does this all have to do with Kai Uno, your son? Hanzo asked, though he had a feeling what he may be fearing. It is shameful for me to say this, but as a fellow pro-hero, and as a father, I have to tell you all the truth, Time Lord said. Atomic Atom is none other than my wife's great-grandfather. In other words, he is also my son's great-great-grandfather, and his quirk of nuclear manipulation was passed down to my son. Everyone was shocked, including Principal Nezu, even though he already knew it. I can't believe it, Cementos exclaimed. I never thought. That is just insane, Present Mike exclaimed. I know in the past, and even a few of our students have relatives who used to be a villain. But that's just wow, Midnight said as she looked speechless. That explains a lot, Hanzo said. So, your kid uses the same quirk that his great-great-grandfather had. That's right, Time Lord nodded. My wife doesn't talk much about her heritage because of her ancestors' reputation. Even though Atomic Atom was defeated by the hand of pro-heroes during his reign, his wife and their child weren't persecuted and lived in hiding among the society after the end of the Second World War, and never spoke about Atomic Atom. Till this day, we don't, and I promised her to keep this secret until at this current time. But then why are you telling this to us now? Aizawa spoke up as everyone turned their attention to him. Time Lord stared at him intensely with a severe yet calm expression. As a pro-hero, I, along with my wife, always keep everyone to sleep peacefully during the night, while we fight crimes every day and every night. However, due to our busy schedule, I don't have the time to spend with my children. And as for my boy, Kai specifically, he preferred not to have the time with us either. As a father, I failed that duty, and so I asked you all. Time Lord bowed his head down. On behalf of me and my wife, Mrs. Galactica, please take care of our son and our place, and protect this secret for us. Everyone was silent and speechless. A lot of things were going on in their head. Originally, Principal Nezu spoke up. Time Lord and Mrs. Galactica only told me their secret for their reason. However, Time Lord knew that eventually that the rest of the UA staff must know this, and well as I knew that I would have to tell confidentially eventually. However, he also told me that he wanted to test the UA. Test UA? 13 said in a questionable tone. I wanted to test the school and see if it was a trustworthy and good place for my son to grow, Time Lord admitted. Even with the recent attack by the villains, I was a bit hesitant to visit and see my son at the sports festival. Other than just that, I had a busy schedule, but due to a chance and my wife's continuous bickering, I decided to come and notice something. My son, he has friends. All Might grinned at that. For the first time, I saw my son with other students of his age. That's the first ever biggest sign of growth I ever saw him do. Of course, that didn't mean the people he met at his elementary or middle school were bad, but he didn't quite fit in with them. However, whether by force or his own will, he has actual friends who care about him, and I am grateful for that, Time Lord with a slight grin. If you are that grateful, why don't you tell about his power to his friends? Aizawa said boldly. Hey, Aizawa, what are you saying? Present Mike gasped. No. That is something my son must decide on his own. If he believes that the people he claims to be his friends are truly trustworthy, then I am sure that they will understand when the time comes, Time Lord rebutted. Well, Time Lord. All Might got up from his seat as he transformed into his muscular form. I promise to keep your son's secret and see it through that he grows and matures to become a great man one day. Of course, I expected you would be the one to say. Time Lord chuckled a bit. I will, too, Eraserhead said as he got up, too. Soon, all the teachers and staff members got up from their chairs and agreed together. Thank you all. Time Lord said seldomly. My Hero Academia. Time stop, Time Lord shouted, causing the entire stadium to freeze in time. All the spectators, students, and everyone around him stopped in time, except for himself and his wife. Dear, Time Lord stated. Yes, honey, Mrs. Galactica said. Space hole. A blue portal opened just below Frozen Kai, swallowing him whole. And so the time has begun to move again. Time Lord said right after he said that the time indeed moved again. The spectators cheered, but didn't notice much, except that Kai was no longer on the arena platform. Eh? Where did Uno-kun go? Midnight asked as she looked confused. Where did he go? Cementos looked around, too. Huh? The students of Class 1L looked confused, too. Guys, where is Kai? Usagi asked. He was there on the platform, wasn't he? Alex said, looking confused as everyone else. I do recall that he won the fight with Mr. Yuki Drago-san. But then, we saw that strange metallic armor on his body, and he was screaming, and I couldn't remember what happened after that, Arisa said. Me neither, Felicia said, feeling awkward. Anyone else remembers what just happened? Not at all, Mikado replied. Me neither, Aku added. Yeah, neither do I, Denki admitted. Everyone couldn't remember. But it was just them. Students from other classes couldn't either, especially Class 1. Where did Kai-kun go? Ochako asked. I have no idea, dude. I did see him screaming and saw that strange blinking metal thing on his body. But after that, I feel blank, Kirishima explained. This is too bizarre. I don't recall anything that happened just now, Tenya said. What about you, Midoriya-kun? Me, too. It is almost as if something stopped. That was when Midoriya found out. He looked down on his All Might's watch to check the current time and noticed something. His watch was 1 minute fast compared to the time on the stadium's digital clock. He thought this was weird. But there was one reason he can think of. He remembered hearing about it before. Could it be? Did Kai-kun's dad, Time Lord, used his quirk? Midoriya thought. Name, Time Lord. Quirk, Time Stop. Time Lord, Kai Uno's father, has the power to stop time itself. He can use this quirk to stop things in time, like a collapsing building or even living things. However, he can stop time only for a limited time. The longest time he ever stopped time was 10 minutes. Name, Mrs. Galactica. Quirk, Space. Kai Uno's mother, Mrs. Galactica, has the power to control space and transport other living things or non-living things to another place. It is similar to Warp, another quirk used by a specific villain. But Mrs. Galactica's quirk can also manipulate space and warp it into her likings. Hey, what do you mean by? Aizawa was about to question Speed Girl, but it was too late. Speed Girl already left the room. Huh? Hey, Aizawa. Is it just me, or did we skip time? Present Mike asked as he checked the clock and compared it with his watch. Who cares about that? What about Kai? Aizawa looked over and checked, but Kai was nowhere else. Huh? What the? Where did Kai Uno go? Present Mike stated loudly. Well, if he isn't present, then that means that Kai Uno is forfeited from the match due to not being present. Let's applaud both Kai Uno and Yuki Drago for the excellent match they displayed. The crowds cheered, though the classes and some teachers were very confused as to what just happened. Members of Class 1L were worried about Kai. Chapter 9. The Art of Heroism. UA Academy's Sports Festival is the most important event for the entire school body. Many pro heroes come around to see the next generation of pro heroes. However, unlike last year, this year's sports festival was the most extraordinary one, to say the least. The fighting tournament, where students who made it through the racing game fight off each other to show off their quirk, needed to stop for the day and continue tomorrow due to an unexpected end in the last match for the second round. However, the question on everyone's mind is how the last match ended. The last match was between two classmates of the same class, Class 1L of Hero Course. It was between Yuki Drago, an ace student, versus Kai Uno, who is the young brother of their homeroom teacher, Speed Girl, and son of the famous wed hero couple, Time Lord and Miss Galactica. The battle was intense near the end, and it seemed like Kai Uno won the round. But then, something strange happened to him. Steam was coming out of his body, and the strange machine on his bare chest started blinking in red color from green color. However, that was all everyone can remember. The next thing that happened was that Kai Uno just disappeared. Yuki Drago was taken to the infirmary, and nobody heard from either of them. Miss Speed Girl. The woman turned around to see some students running toward her. It was her entire class, including some from Class 1A. Is Kai all right? Arisa asked. Yeah, what happened to him? Teach, Eli exclaimed. We all want to know what had happened to him, Felicia said. We're worried, too, Izuku admitted, representing for Class 1A, which included Uraraka, Tsuyu, Ida, Kirishima, Siro, and Mainta. You guys. Speed Girl looked around them and gave them a light grin. Thank you, all of you. Don't worry about Kai. He will be okay. His dad and mom are taking care of him now. His parents? Ribbit? Tsuyu wondered. Yes. His parents. Well, my parents are helping him right now. So you all don't need to worry. But thank you for seeing me. I appreciate it very much, Speed Girl said. Well, see you guys later and good luck to you are still in the tournament. Speed Girl ran away, surprising everyone. Of course, they knew that was why the people call her Speed Girl. Her quirk was super speed, after all. Later that day, Class 1A and some members of Class 1A gathered at a local fast food restaurant that wasn't too far away from the school. What a good meal. Ile was satisfied as he put his food on the table. Eating good food is a way to go after a good round. Ile-san, don't you put your dirty shoes on the table like that, Ida scolded. That's very rude and unsanitary. Just relax, man. You and I will duke it out tomorrow. By the way, you have ketchup on the side of your mouth. He pointed out. Gah, you are right, he gasped. I shall wipe it immediately. Tenya grabbed a handkerchief out of his pocket and wiped the ketchup off from his mouth. Seeing this, Uraraka spat out and laughed. Biwa, you have your handkerchief, Uraraka laughed. What's so wrong about that? Of course, a gentleman always has his handkerchief ready in a situation like this, he stated. She's laughing at you for being so neat, bro, Ile pointed out more. Wish Bakugo or Todoroki was here, Kirishima admitted. I asked both of them, but the former just yelled at me, and the latter just, well, ignored me. That sucks, but it's their loss, Denki said. I also tried to invite Junko, but strangely, I couldn't find her, Muru added. Perhaps she went home and went to bed. Then again, she is always sleeping, AI commented, making some of them laugh about it. I was being serious, AI murmured. As everyone was enjoying each other's company, Arisa was in deep thought, looking a bit gloomy. Usagi and Tsuyu noticed her gloom. Hey, Arisa. Arisa snapped out of thought. What's the matter? Usagi asked. Oh, I am sorry. I've just still wondered if Kai is indeed okay, Arisa said, catching everyone's attention, causing the happy chatter of friends into a cold silence. Well, Eli spoke up. I am sure he will be fine. I mean, his big sister. Our teacher said so. He's with his parents now, so he should be fine by now. But that isn't the only thing I am wondering about him, Arisa said. That look in his face, and the strange machine on his chest. I've been wondering about that since the match. Everyone remembered it well. They didn't know what it is, and they also wanted to know more about it as much as Arisa does. You know. Everyone turned to Izuku. I had the same thought, too. Really? Arisa asked. Yeah, Izuku admitted. As a matter of fact, since his match with Drago, I've been wondering more specifically about his quirk. His quirk? Uraraka wondered. Yes, Izuku said. His quirk. From what I saw in his match, it was powerful enough to blow those fires away made by Yuki Drago. His body glowed in this green aura. Steam was coming out of his body. Whatever his quirk is, it must be immensely powerful, and I think that strange machine thing on his chest must be some kind of suppressor or something that controls his power. That sounds very analytical, Midoriya-kun, Ida admitted. Now I am curious about Kai Uno-kun's quirk. So you think the weird thing on his chest is like a suppressor for his quirk? Then, I wonder why he has it, Usagi wondered. That is the other thing I was thinking, and I think it most likely due to his quirk being too strong to control even for himself, Izuku thought aloud. Then, I wonder, if what you say everything is true, Midoriya-san, then that it means that Kai has a quirk too dangerous, Arisa said, looking more worried than before. This made the entire group look concerned, and even more silent to the point of depression. That was when a door opened, meaning another customer. Oh, I had a feeling you guy would be here. Everyone turned their attention to the people who just entered the restaurant. Felicia, and Yuki Drago? Everyone gasped, surprising Felicia. Yet Yuki with a stone face. Whoa, what's wrong with you all? You surprised me, Felicia exclaimed. Sorry, but we were just talking about Kai and figuring out what kind of quirk he has, Arisa admitted. Oh, well, that is the reason why I came here with him, Arisa said, looking over at Yuki who looked back. Yo, Yuki dude, are you feeling all right? Ile asked. You were taken away by the infirmary, right? But we didn't find you there. We even asked recovery girl and the assistant nurse. But they didn't tell us anything because they don't know where you went, Usagi complained. Yuki Drago just stared at them, which everyone stared back at him. I am sorry to make you all worry, Yuki Drago apologized. That took long enough to respond, Tatsumi commented, with a sweat drop. I will explain what happened to me, and also, about Kai Uno's quirk, Yuki stated. My Hero Academia. Everyone sat quietly and watched Yuki Drago, looking full of anticipation about his match with Kai Uno. Yuki Drago slowly took his extra-large cup of soda, punched his straw on the top, and started drinking through it. Kirishima looked a bit impatient. Hey, not to put pressure on you, but could you tell us exactly what happened between you and Kai already? Kirishima-kun, let Drago-san finish his drink first, Ida scolded. I just finished it, Yuki Drago said, shaking his cup which made a cracking noise of ice cubes hitting each other, indicating that there was no more soda inside it. That was fast, Ashido exclaimed. Holy carrot, Usagi gasped. Let me start from the beginning, Yuki started. Flashback. Let the match begin, Midnight declared as the spectators cheered for the third round to begin. The fight between Yuki and Kai began. It started normally. I allowed Kai to make the first move, making him ram towards me and grabbed my waist. I didn't put all my strength into it, so I allowed him to push me almost to the edge of the arena, Yuki explained. Why would you do that? Usagi asked. Well, Yuki showed a smirk. I wanted to see how strong Kai is and expected him to use his quirk. Oh, I see. So that is why you purposely made yourself like you were going to lose, Midoriya analyzed. However, I quickly saw it. He was purposely going to slip himself out of the bound to lose on purpose, Yuki stated. Wait, what? Uraraka gasped. Holy carrot. He was going to lose on purpose? Usagi asked. Oh my, Arisa was surprised. So that is why he tripped and almost got out of the arena. Because of that, I stopped him by grabbing his leg with my tail. I admit that I got very angry and upset, so I retaliated, Yuki admitted. Though by doing that, I thought that would force him to rely on his quirk to fight back, and my plan worked. However, it worked too well. Flashback ends. And of course, you know the rest of the story, Yuki said. But that doesn't quite answer what his quirk is, Ribbit, Tsuyu wondered. So true, Maru thought aloud. However, I can say this. Kai's quirk, his power and ability, is no normal quirk. It is very powerful, and I have a clue what it is, he said. What is it, dude? Don't keep us in the dark, bro, Eli stated. After the match ended, I was taken to the infirmary. Or so I thought I was. I was taken to somewhere else. A truck, he answered. A truck? Ida repeated. This truck had a strange machine, and people were wearing a white suit with yellow gloves, Yuki explained. They shined a light over my body by using the strange machine. They were checking my body for something. That was when I found out what they were doing, who they were, and what is Kai's quirk. Everyone paid close attention. Only Midoriya gulped deeply. His quirk. It is to do with nuclear radiation, he revealed. Nuclear radiation? Everyone said at the same time. The strange machine that these weird people in suits used weren't normal nurses. They were real-life people who study nuclear energy, I'm guessing. Perhaps nuclear physicists, Yuki guessed. I investigated on this further after I met up with Yuki a while ago, Felicia said, grabbing everyone's attention. Apparently, some people at the food vendors did notice a big truck with an atomic symbol drove through the parking lot near the stadium. No way. Our classmate is a living nuclear power plant, Usagi exclaimed. Whoa, a radioactive powered quirk. I've never heard of things like it before, Eli admitted. That sound amazing, Momo marveled. But isn't it like nuclear energy dangerous? You know, like the whole radiation thing? Toru questioned. I think I am understanding things more about Kai, Midoriya said. The machine with the lens on his chest was a suppressor. It must be to suppress his nuclear energy. And when it was blinking red at the end of the fight, it must have meant that he was using too much of it. I was thinking the same thing, too, Felicia agreed. Adding to that, I think the blinking red light also means that his power has reached a critical level or near it, indicating danger. Are you two saying that whatever happened today, Kai could have just exploded? Eli exclaimed. Holy carrot, Kai is a nuclear bomb, Usagi gasped. That's such a terrifying quirk. And the evidence is strong, Ida said. Now that you mention it, Kai Uno hasn't said anything about his quirk or show it off until today, Tatsumi said. Plus, he's always been kind of the weirdest one in our class. Maybe he was hiding his quirk all this time so that we wouldn't be worried or be scared of him or worse, Makoto pointed out. Poor Kai. Everyone looked at Arisa, who looked sad. He must have been in pain for a long, long time. Hiding his quirk, knowing that it is dangerous. I don't know about the danger, but as I said, his quirk may be the most powerful one in the entire school, or perhaps even in the entire world, Yuki said. So, now that we may know his quirk, the question is what had happened to him, and where is he now? AI asked. Everyone looked quiet, seldom, and sort of sad. Nobody did know the answer to those questions. The only thing they can do now was going home and get ready for the second day of the sports festival, especially for those who are still in the tournament. My Hero Academia. Biwa, somewhere in the dark alley street, a pro hero was struggling on the ground with blood coming out of his mouth. He was crawling on the ground. How did this all happen? For one moment, I was ready to take him down, but then suddenly, gah! The pro hero was staved through his back, silencing him by a sharp, edgy sword. The wielder of the sword was an intimidating, muscular man who stood with a hunchback and flat, sort of triangular face. His hair was black, and he was wearing a red headband, dark combat suit with metal armor across his body, long, black wristband, yellow bandages wrapped around his arms, and black shoes. He also wore a tattered cloth for his mask. "That was quite a sloppy work," said a voice, as the man licked the blood off from his sword. He turned to the shadows. "HMPH, I don't want to hear your criticism," the man argued. "I'm not saying that it's your fault. Rather, it was the fault of that weak pro-hero you just killed," said the voice in the shadows, who sounded feminine. "Even though I used my quirk over him, he still managed to give a decent fight. Of course, it is nothing like we can handle for you, the hero killer, and your sidekick. Don't go around and say that corny shit. You are more than my sidekick," Hero Killer stated. "You are my apprentice, Reaper." The owner of the voice walked out of the shadow when the almost full moon shined its light over the alley street. It was a tall, young female figure in an all-black suit. Around her legs showed some stripes, and her shoes or boots were the skinny types for women, almost like a high heel. A black hood covered over her head, and her face was covered with a skull mask. Chapter 10. Fight on, everyone. The finale of UA Sports Festival. Glob, glob, glob. Inside a dark room, there was a large tube filled with liquid, and it glowed in green color. Inside the tube was a young boy with a strange machine on his chest, as it was attached to a bunch of wires. There was a machine next to the tube that seemed to be showing the boy's heartbeat, and other things. Where am I?" he thought as he slowly opened his eyes. "Doctor, the boy, Kai Uno is waking up," said a female voice. "Who is that? It sounds like. I get it. It happened again, didn't it? Shit. I remember that I fought Yuki Drago at the stadium for US Sports Festival. But then. I just hope that everyone is safe. But I hope more that they are not worried over me. Maybe staying here is better. Report to Mr. Time Lord and Miss Galactic." A male voice spoke up. "Let them know." "Yes, sir. My Hero Academia." Yo, welcome back to the US Sports Festival, y'all," President Mike announced excitedly as the crowds gathered at the UA Stadium. It was indeed the second and last day of the festival. There were only some competitors left for the tournament. There were only students from Class 1A and Class 1L left, and they were the following: Tenya Ida, Alex, Eli Francisco Barberos, Ijiro Kirishima, Junko Neru surprisingly, Fumikage Tokoyami, Shoto Todoroki, and Katsuki Bakugo. "What? Dragon Kun is not going to be continuing to stay in the tournament?" Usagi gasped. "But why? Is he sick or something?" Arisa asked, wondering, and looking a bit worried. "No," Felicia said. "He said that he didn't want to continue in the tournament because he thinks there was no need for it." "Huh? What's that supposed to mean?" Maruto perplexed. "His reasoning was vague. But that's what he told me this morning when he called me," Felicia explained. I see, Tatsumi nodded. Oh well. I guess he will miss the fun," Usagi noted. "Anyway, let's get going, guys. The next match is going to be up soon." The members of the Class 1L hurried steadily to the stadium. They joined with the rest of their classmates and their friends from Class 1A to watch the remaining matches. The first match was between Bakugo and Tokoyami. However, this was a quick fight due to a terrible matchup. Tokoyami's quirk, Dark Shadow, was strong, but it was found out that it is weak to light, and Bakugo's explosive quirk created a spark of an explosion that was too bright for Dark Shadow to handle. Tokoyami's Dark Shadow is strong, but it cannot go into the offense because it is weak to light, Yuroroka commented. Right, Midoriya agreed. I thought Takamai would win in this, Siro wondered. Me too, but I guess even he couldn't beat Bakugo, Kirishima noted. Bakugo-san is strong, isn't he? Maybe too strong, Arisa conversed. A quirk of his prowess makes him a formidable opponent. Then again, this was a pretty bad matchup, so he had a complete advantage over it. Quite unfair, but that's a fact, AI stated. I agree, Felicia nodded. Arisa looked around, and everyone thought the same thing. She loved this kind of conversation with others. Ever since she joined this school, she became more and more interested in how others fight and how they use their quirks. At first, she didn't like fighting for purpose of violence, and she still is. But seeing and listening to what others fought for intrigued her and inspired her. Though, there was one thing that was still on her mind. She still wondered if Kai Uno was okay. If Kai were here, I wondered if he would enjoy watching the fights with everyone. I hope he gets back soon, she thought. Next up is Tenya Ida versus Alex Francisco Barberos, or everyone calls him Eli. Present Mike announced as the crowds cheered. The two competitors stood and looked at each other. Well, it looks like we are up, dude. Let's do our best and see who the better president of our class is, Eli exclaimed. HM, it will be an honor to fight you. Ida started strongly as he got into position. Ready, and fight, Midnight, the referee declared. Tenya made the first move. He ran quickly to catch Eli off guard and slid past him to grab him by his back. Stink bug fart. Eli transformed the lower half of his body into a body of stink bug and then released a yellow gas from nowhere. Ah, Tenya gasped as he covered his nose. Pu, Eli has done it again. Present Mike pinched his nose. It may be stinky, but what Eli did was a smart play. By using the unique ability of a stink bug, he covered the entire arena with gases so that his opponent won't see him, Speed Girl explained. Gross, but effective strategy, Aizawa commented. Fortunately, Midnight and Cementos were wearing a gas mask just in case if this happened again in Eli's match. Not again, Usagi complained. What a smell. Mina covered her nose and mouth. Just how many French fries did this guy eat yesterday? Maita whinged. Sorry guys. I know it smells bad and all, but it is all part of the strategy, Eli stated. Suddenly, the smelly yellow fart gas started swirling around. Huh, Eli looked around, noticing the strange movement of the gas. Soon, he found out what was going on, and so did the spectators. What's this? It is Tenya Ida. He is moving fast around the gas to blow it all away, Present Mike exclaimed. Ida moved faster and faster around the gas until it all dissipated. Oh, man, Eli moaned. But oh well. I guess the same strategy won't work on everyone. Not a bad one, despite how uncleanness it is. I will teach you to eat more greens, Eli-kun. Okay, but that if you win. Eli moved towards Ida with his arms transformed into a prey mantis scythes. The two competitors crashed against one another. Ida kicked, but Eli dodged and jumped like a grasshopper. I can do this all day, man, Eli called from the top in midair. Suddenly, Ida kneeled as his calves charged up with energy, and then released it. Due to it, he jumped up so high that it was enough to reach Eli, and caught him surprised, and also surprising everyone as well. Caught you. Ida and Eli fell to the ground with Eli hitting on his back as Ida crashed with him. Well, I am beaten. Eli gave up as he grinned at the loss. The winner is Tenya Ida, Midnight announced as the crowds cheered. All right, Ida-kun, he won, Midoriya cheered. Congratulations to Ida-san, Arisa applauded. That was a good match, Kaminari gave a thump up. Indeed it was, Felician nodded. HMPH, Bakugo huffed to himself as he had no comment. What a good battle, however. Now this led to having only one student from Class 1L left. What do you think, Speed Girl, as you're their homeroom teacher? Present Mike asked. Well, yes. It is a bit unfortunate that most of my beloved students are out. But all hope is not lost, Speed Girl answered. We still have Junko Neru in the league, and she is our last hope. You can do it, Junko. Ah yes, the Sleeping Beauty. Well, we wish her luck, Present Mike said excitedly. Speaking of the devil, it is her match next against Mr. Mummy Man's student, Eijiro Kirishima. Why are you still calling me that? Aizawa asked in an annoyed tone. Kirishima walked up to the stadium as he put his fist together and yelled out. The crowds cheered in response. Yeah, you got this, Kirishima, Tetsutestu yelled from the spectator's seat. He was a member of Class 1B, the rival class to Class 1A and sort of a rival to Class 1L. He and Kirishima shared the same kind of quirk. A yesterday's enemy is a today's friend. His classmate, Juzo Hanuki mumbled as he was sitting next to the overhyped Tetsutetsu. Junko slowly walked up to the stadium as she was still sleeping. It's that girl again, one of the spectators pointed out. Is she going to be all right? She made it this far, miraculously. The spectators mumbled among themselves, having a little to no doubt for Junko if she could even win this match. So far in this sports festival, Junko Neru had inexplicably made it through all the games. First, she somehow made it in the last place for the race game slowly, but surely and surprised everyone when she created a large snot bubble to fly over the giant pit as one of the obstacles. Second, she won her first battle against a student named Larry Cray from the general course. Lastly, she was supposed to go up against Yuki Drago. But Yuki forfeited, so she won by default. So it is Kirishima-kun and Junko-chan, Usagi said. Though, I don't want to say anything bad about Junko-chan. But how would she win in this match? Ribbit? Suyu wondered. That's a good point. Quite honestly, she's been winning by pure luck so far, Makoto admitted. Although, has anyone ever wondered what's Junko's quirk? Tatsumi asked. Of everyone I saw, I don't think we've ever seen her using her quirk. That's right, Usagi realized. We've never seen her use her quirk ever. Deku-kun, you haven't written any notes about Junko-chan's quirk, did you? Uraraka questioned him. No, not at all, Midoriya said. I have written everyone else's quirk for ones I have seen so far. But I haven't got even the slightest information about Naru-san's quirk. Well, the only thing we know is she sleeps all the time, Kaminari pointed out. Yeah, thanks for that, Mr. Obvious, Kyoka said, rolling her eyes. At the arena, Kirishima watched her opponent slowly, but surely trying her best to stand straight every time she slumps. Excuse me, but do I have to fight her? Midnight raised her eyebrows at the boy. I mean, to be honest, I think it is kind of quite obvious that she doesn't seem to look very qualified to continue like this, which isn't fair to her. That may be. But she had come this far, so let's give a fair fight. Okay, Midnight winked. Right. Let the fight begin, Midnight declared. What will Kirishima, the hard-boiled man of class, want to do in this situation? Will he go easy on her just because she's a girl or something else? Present Mike announced excitedly. Well, this should be an easy win and all. I don't have to fight her. I can just carry her out of bounds, Kirishima decided as he walked up to his competitor, and then carried her up on his lap. Check it out, folks. Kirishima had just picked her up, and now carrying her outside of the arena. Well, that's that. There is no point in fighting her since she is pretty much out of commission, Momo stated as everyone agreed on that. Kirishima walked closer to outside the bound of the arena. But then, gah, something struck through him on his backside. And then suddenly, his vision became blurry. Hey, what's up with Kirishima? Why did he stop? Gyro pointed. What the? Why do I feel so sleepy? Kirishima fainted, shocking the audiences as they wondered what had just happened. Midnight checked over Kirishima, noticing a snoring noise from him. Kirishima is down. The winner here is Junko Naru, I guess. What? Everyone gasped. Kirishima, what the hell are you doing? Wake up, man. Tetsutetsu yelled as he was standing over his chair. Calm down, Tetsutetsu. Hanuki and his classmates tried to put the iron-bodied boy back in his seat. What just happened? Is Kirishima-san all right? Arisa asked worriedly. It seems like he fell asleep, Felicia said, looking surprised as everyone else. Fell asleep? At a time like this? Maita gasped. When he picked up Junko-chan to put her out of the arena's boundary. Kirishima-kun just fell asleep then, Chiyu stated. TCH, idiot, Bakugo whispered to himself. Everyone was surprised, especially the members of Class 1A, Kirishima's classmates, and their friends from Class 1L. Arisa thought the same thing, too. Wow, I can't believe Naru-sen won again. She must be the luckiest person in the world. Maybe sleeping a lot is her good luck charm, Arisa thought, while the said person, Junko Naru, was sleeping peacefully and snoring. Kirishima was taken away by robots. Well, that was of something. But I guess your last hope of the class goes on to the semi-final. Speed Girl, Present Mike said. Hurry. We Class 1L rules, Speed Girl cheered. Aizawa Aka erased her head, didn't say or comment on anything but stared at Junko Naru. Next match was Tenya Ida versus Shoto Todoroki. Tenya started well by grabbing Shoto by the back of the uniform's neck collar. But Shoto took this as a chance to freeze Tenya's calves and stopping him from moving. The victory went to Shoto automatically, ending the match quickly. There were now 3 players left: Katsuki Bakugo, Shoto Todoroki, and the only member of Class 1L who made it this far, Junko Naru. Only one of them will be the number 1, as that was what Arisa thought. If Kai were here, I wonder who he would think would win, she thought. The semi-round began, starting with Bakugo and Shoto. Once Present Mike declared a start, Todoroki made the first move by creating a huge glacier that covered the entire half of the arena with Bakugo in the way. Wow, it's Todoroki-san's glacier summon attack, Arisa exclaimed. He's using something similar to what he did to Zero, though not too strongly, Felicia said. Holy carrot, Usagi awed. Todoroki gets a blow in right away, Present Mike called. Is he trying to avoid close combat with Bakugo? What Present Mike sensei is right, Maru admitted. Todoroki is strong in the long range, and Bakugo has his strength in close quarter combat. By keeping him from reaching him, Todoroki can use his strongest attack, even from far in distance. Indeed. I thought the same thing, Felicia agreed. Todoroki-kun is not playing. He aimed his attack while being careful of what'll come next, Midoriya noted. That's one cool attack, Ile commented as he smirked. No pun intended. Suddenly, a noise of the explosion was coming from the ice. It was getting louder and louder. What's that sound? Minta asked, looking a bit scared. It's Bakugo-chan's doing, Tsuyu said. Suddenly, a part of the ice broke, creating a hole with Bakugo revealed out as Todoroki jumped a foot away to get ready for his next attack. Everyone gasped, and was surprised to see Bakugo breaking out of the thick ice. Did he dig his way out through the ice like a mole with his explosions? Zero questioned. That's so crazy, Kaminari looked shocked. The stronger the quirk, Bakugo leaped out of the hole and flew towards Todoroki as his opponent countered with his right arm. However, Bakugo avoided it. The more imprecise the attack, Bakugo grabbed Todoroki's head and left shoulder. He avoided his right side and grabbed him, Midoriya said, surprisingly. Wow, Uraraka gasped. Are you underestimating me? Bakugo roared. Idiot. He threw his opponent away. Todoroki watched as he was about to hit the ground, but he quickly summoned more ice from his left arm and created a wall of ice for him to slide on to avoid damage. He then slid on the wall of ice to counterattack and avoid Bakugo. Whoa, he avoids going out of bounds with a wall of ice, Speed Girl exclaimed. Looks like fun, Present Mike added. Bakugo jumped over his opponent with his right arm out to shoot his explosion at him. But Todoroki dodged and grabbed the boy's right arm. Use your left, Endeavor stood while watching the fight, looking a bit excited. Use it, Shoto. However, Shoto threw Bakugo away, instead of using his left arm. Bakugo stopped himself and looked up to his opponent, looking both angrily and excitedly. Stop screwing around. Am I not strong enough for you to use that left arm of yours? Why is Todoroki-sen not using his left arm? Arisa asked, and soon as she did, her question was answered by one of the commentators. With the way, he grabbed Todoroki's left side on purpose and timed his explosion, Aizawa spoke. He's been doing his research. That kid's abilities shine every time he fights. I see. Both Present Mike and Speed Girl nodded. Todoroki's moving well, too, but his attacks are too simple. Ever since the match with Midoriya, he's lost his touch. Bastard. Bakugo looked madder, as the explosions coming out from his both hands crackling. I'll show you what'll happen if you make a fool of me. I'll kill you. Todoroki looked stunned at Bakugo. I want an indisputable first place. I can't get that even if I bet scum that underestimates me. There's no point if I can't get higher up than Deku. If you have no intention of winning, then don't stand in front of me. What are you standing here, damn it? Bakugo began running towards his opponent. Todoroki continued to look stunning, not moving an inch at all, as he was remembering everything that had happened to this point. Sorry, Bakugo. Ever since I fought Midoriya, I became unsure of what I should do, of whether or not I was correct. Todoroki was leaving himself unguarded until a voice called his name. Don't give up, Todoroki-kun. He snapped out of his thought and looked over to the spectator's seat, where he sees Midoriya standing up. Don't lose, do your best. Arisa was surprised, but understood what Midoriya was doing in some way. He's right. You can do it, Todoroki-san. Kawasaki-san. Midoriya. That damn nerd. Bakugo used his explosion on the ground, causing him to jump high over Todoroki. The frostbites over Todoroki's left arm melted by his internal heat, and then his left side of the face combusted. That's it. That's it. If you're gonna stand in front of me, then you should just concentrate on winning. Todoroki was getting ready to counterattack, but he hesitated as if the thought of his past rushed through his mind. Howitzer impact, Bakugo roared as his explosion collided against the ice, causing a bigger explosion in the process. He added momentum and rotation to the huge blast he showed us in his fight with Uraraka, Present Mike exclaimed. Which caused the entire ice to explode, Speed Girl exclaimed, too. He was like a human projectile, Present Mike declared. It seems like Todoroki-kun didn't fire off the huge blast he used in his match with Midoriya. But the winner is, Speed Girl said, as the smoke began to clear away. Everyone watched with anticipation. As the smoke cleared away, they were looking at it. Bakugo couldn't believe his eyes, but not in the way he felt very satisfied with it. Shoto Todoroki was out of bounds. Huh, you put out your flames, Bakugo accused angrily as she slowly got back up and walked over to the fainted Todoroki. Hey, stop screwing around. He grabbed Todoroki by his uniform. This isn't the way I wanted to end. Didn't I tell you that there was no point, damn it? To win like this, like this, like this. A pink aroma put Bakugo to sleep, thanks to Midnight's intervention. She pulled off part of her sleeves to release her aroma that put anyone to sleep. It was her quirk. Everyone watched and couldn't believe it. Todoroki forfeited himself, allowing Bakugo to advance to the final. It was a sad, disappointing end. Midnight walked over to the boys and checked before she raised her arm. Todoroki is out of bounds. The winner who advances to the final is Katsuki Bakugo. The crowds cheered loudly. And now, the finale has been decided. The final match will be between Class 1A's Katsuki Bakugo and Class 1L's Junko Neru. We'll be taking a short 10-minute break, so relax for a moment, but come back for the grand final, Speed Girl announced. Some people stayed in the stadium, but a lot of the others went for a bathroom break or grabbed some food. However, few went to check on their fallen. Todoroki-kun, Midoriya, and some from Class 1A and Class 1L went to see Todoroki in the infirmary. Hey, what did I tell you, kids, to never barge in like that? Didn't I tell you all before? Recovery Girl scolded. Sorry to barge in like this, Miss Recovery Girl, but is Shoto Todoroki here? We're here to see him, Felicia asked. Well, he is here. He's resting over there. She pointed to the boy who was sitting on the side of the bed with her assistant, Miss Heel, standing by and checking his injury. Midoriya, everyone. Todoroki whispered. Todoroki-kun, are you all right? Midoriya asked. Is everything okay for you? Arisa said. I'm fine, simply fine, he answered calmly, yet not looking too positive. Dude, that was some crazy fight, bro, Ile commented. That was a mega crazy holy carrot, Usagi added. Hey, I know you lost and all, but let's take a selfie for doing all your best. Now, you all had a chance to see him. I want you to get out of my office, Recovery Girl nagged. But, no, it is fine. Recovery Girl stopped. I will go back now. Thank you for everything, Miss Recover Girl and Miss Heel. Alrighty then, Miss Heel said. Todoroki left with everyone out of the room. Recovery Girl sighed. Man, kids these days. Well, at least Todoroki-kun has a lot of friends who care about him. At least that's good, Miss Heel assured before she turned to another patient. Although, they seem to have not noticed this patient here. Recovery Girl looked over to the sleeping Kirishima. Oh yeah, they haven't. Everyone returned to the spectator's seat and looked forward to the final match. It was 9 minutes and a half. Todoroki-kun. He looked to Midoriya. I know that you had put your flames out. May I ask why you did that? I guess I hesitated, that's all, Todoroki said. Thought that was a lie. Hesitated. Most of Class 1A and 1L gasped. Well, I guess it happens to everyone. Even to a perfect guy like you, huh? Eli said. I guess so, Usagi agreed. I hesitate a lot myself, especially on exams. Yeah, so do I, Ashido admitted. Everyone talked over during the last half hour of the break. Todoroki couldn't help but grinned a little before he went back to his moody expression. He looked at his left hand and gripped it. Midoriya noticed it, but couldn't say anything about it, and perhaps it was for the best for now. Arisa also noticed it and thought about it. He must be frustrated in not fighting fully into it with his heart. I wonder this must be the whole thing about the pride that Kai talked about during the first game yesterday. It must be painful for Todoroki-sen right now. The 10-minute break was up, and everyone was back in the stadium. The spectators looked the most excited as this was the last match of the tournament for the UA Sports Festival. Welcome back, folks, to the final of the UA Sports Festival tournament. Present Mike began. We have seen so many different fighters over these past 2 days, but it all comes down to this. On one side, we have the ferocious, yet fearless and driving man from Class 1A, the explosive Katsuki Bakugo. And the other side, Speed Girl continued. Nobody expected her to come this far, and yet either by miracle or pure luck, which the latter may be more plausible, but she is here. The one and only, Junko Neru from Class 1L has made through the trials without any sweats or efforts. The only question now remains is who will take the throne and become number 1 for this year's first-year UA Sports Festival. The two make announced as the crowds cheered loudly. This is so exciting, Usagi cheered. Though to be quite honest, don't you think this is like so unfair game? Maita thought aloud as everyone looked. I mean, come on. I know that Junko Girl has made it this far and all, insanely by pure luck. But she's fighting Bakugo. Your bluntness irritates me. Minta-kun. Suyu hit him with her tongue. I kind of agree with Minta. Everyone then turned to Makoto. Junko's luck may have run. Even so, the only way to tell is through this match. The final, AI stated. Right, Tsukuyomi nodded. Everyone watched as the two competitors entered the arena. Bakugo, who looked very pissed with both his hands in the pocket. Wow, look at that, battle face, Present Mike commented. RRR, Bakugo glared at Present Mike, which he clutched himself in response. Well, Bakugo is here and so is his opponent, Junko-chan, Speed Girl said as Junko Neru came on the arena slowly, but surely and still sleeping. Hey, guys. The students of Class 1A and Class 1L turned around to see Kirishima sweating. Kirishima, everyone gasped. Kirishima-kun, you are awake, Midoriya noticed. Where is Bakugo? Guys, is he already in the arena? Kirishima looked over to see him. Ah, I am too late. What's wrong, Kirishima? You're like sweating bullets, Asui pointed. I wanted to tell him something important before this match started, Kirishima said. Important to Kaken? What is it? Midoriya asked. Bakugo stared at Junko with a glaring eye and showing his teeth gritting while Junko was standing peacefully. Let the final battle begins, Present Mike declared. Oh, man, it started, Kirishima cursed. Bakugo roared as he headed towards Junko to grab her, or do whatever to finish this match quickly. Bakugo makes the first move. He's flying towards Junko, but Junko is just gonna stand there like a tree, Present Mike announced. However, just as he was about to grab her, Junko swayed to the right, dodging out of the way. Huh? Bakugo quickly steeled himself to prevent getting out of bounds. That was close, Speed Girl commented. If Bakugo doesn't be careful, he may get himself out of bounds. So what is that you wanted to say to Bakugo? Momo asked Kirishima. Yeah, man. Spill it out, bro, Eli demanded. I think I found out Junko's quirk, Kirishima revealed. What? Junko-chan's quirk? Suyu said. Yeah, when I was in the match with her. Flashback. Well, this should be an easy win and all. I don't have to fight her. I can just carry her out of bounds. Kirishima picked the sleeping Junko Neru with his arms and walked over to the outside of the bounds. You are already lost. Huh? Kirishima heard a voice near as if someone whispered in his ear. Suddenly, he felt something touched on the back of his neck, like a sting and feeling sudden drowsiness. What the? Kirishima fell into a deep slumber. Flashback ends. Wait, man. Are you saying that chick over there, Junko Neru, did something to you that made you go to sleep? Kirishima said. Yeah, there was no one else but her. I thought I heard wrong, but I am sure it was her doing. She's the one who put me to sleep, Kirishima claimed. Could it be her quirk? Momo questioned. But if it is her quirk, then does that mean she's been fooling everyone in the entire tournament all this time? Nonetheless, the entire school, Minta said. Yeah, and that is why I wanted to say it to Bakugo. Not that I have doubt, but he is in trouble if he doesn't find out, Kirishima explained. Everyone turned back to the arena as the final match unfolding. Bakugo tried to grab Junko, but she kept dodging out of the way. GRRR. This is freaking annoying, he shouted. Stay still, or I'll kill you. Bakugo charged up his explosion and released a much stronger blast of the explosion at where Junko's standing. Whoa, Bakugo released a powerful blast. Junko Neru have taken a hit, Present Mike announced. Is she alright? Speed Girl said worriedly. HMPH. Finally, I got her, Bakugo smirked. But little did he know that Junko was behind him. Bakugo felt a presence behind him and quickly jumped away, surprised to see Junko was standing behind him. What? How the hell did you get behind me? He called. Wait, huh? Did anyone see when did Junko moved? Arisa asked. That's what I want to know, Felicia admitted as she looked confused. Maybe what you both said is right, Minta and Kirishima, Suro said. There is something about that girl. Incredible. Junko Neru dodged out of Bakugo's attack and somehow appeared behind him, surprising not just him, but everyone including myself, Present Mike exaggerated. I was watching her all the time, and she did indeed move, Aizawa spoke up. She did? Speed Girl asked. Even a quick star like me didn't notice. What did she do? Just like everyone else, I am surprised. But just about a second before Bakugo released his attack, she moved, and not like a sway, but moved on her own will. I see. But if she moved on her own will, then that means, Present Mike wondered. It means that you are not sleeping at all, are you? You're awake. You don't fool me or anyone here, you sleepy bitch, So why don't you show who you are? Bakugo jeered. Everyone in the entire stadium, including the MCs, didn't say a word, but just stayed still and watching. Bakugo raised his eyebrow, noticing a slight movement on the girl's finger and small noise. HMPH, FFFF, Mwah. Junko's mouth opened so widely, like a hippo, as she gave out a big yawn. What a rude thing to say to wake up someone, you know? Bakugo raised his hands, showing his palms already sparkling due to his quirk. She talked. Some students of Class 1L and Class A gasped. Though, everyone was surprised since this was the first time that they've ever heard Junko speaking. I see a lesson must be taught. And here I thought I can just sleep through the entire festival without using so much of my energy. But since I rested well enough, I guess I will show you some demonstrations. Junko's eyes opened up and posed with her left hand over half of her face, while revealing her right eye only. See guys, I told you that there was something about her, Kirishima claimed. No way, Muru gasped. This is incredible, Tatsumi shocked. Both her eyes revealed to be a beautiful, yet menacing violent reddish color. She changed her pose, now with her left arm down with 2 fingers showing and right arm up with palm out, and her left leg raised at a perfect right angle. She posed like something a martial artist would do. Whoa, this is it, folks. Junko Naru, who has been sleeping for most of the time in this sports festival, has finally awakened, and it seems like she is ready to fight off against Katsuki Bakugo. And is it just I or something about her is now different? Present Mike said shockingly. I agree with you on that, Present Mike, Speed Girl admitted. I've never seen Junko Naru looking this serious, and we're finally gonna find out how she fights. Bakugo smirked as his moody look turned into a ferocious excitement. Let's see what you can, and don't you dare disappoint me. He projected himself towards Junko. HMPH, you won't, she replied as she ran towards Bakugo. What is she doing? They're going to crash, Uraraka yelled. Suddenly, Junko jumped above Bakugo, catching him a bit off guard as she did a flip back in midair before she landed gracefully on her feet. Bakugo changed direction and headed straight to Junko, but she dodged the way and gave a little tap on Bakugo's right arm. Hey, hold still, damn it, Bakugo complained. Then, try catch me if you can, she replied, making Bakugo angrier. Whoa, did she talk back to Bakugo, as Shido asked. Holy carrot, she did. Usagi looked in shock. Ararara awa, Bakugo screamed as he flew towards her at a faster speed. But then suddenly, Junko didn't move and stayed still this time. She lifted her right leg, and then, bam! Gah! Bakugo gasped for air as his face slammed directly on the arena, creating a crack in the process. The classmates, other students, and spectators gasped, feeling cringed to see that happen. Holy crackle holy! She kicked Bakugo right on his noggin, and he crashed on his face to the floor. That would be enough to break a nose, Speed Girl commented. It would be more than a nose. It would be his entire face, Aizawa corrected. Bakugo laid still as his face was grounded on the cracked spot on the arena. Are you going to stay like that? Junko asked. Her statement caused a big angry mark over Bakugo's head. He slowly raised his head with the support of his hand, pushing him up to get back up. He looked up with a bloody nose. Hell no, I just got started, Bakugo startled. Holy crap, his nose is bleeding, Minta pointed. That broke his nose, Kaminari noted. Though, getting my nose broken was worth it. Junko raised her eyebrow, as if she was surprised when he said that. Now you are in my range, and I can blow you up. Bakugo raised his left palm at Junko's face, expecting his explosion quirk to go off. Watch out, Junko-chan. The girls of Class 1L yelled out. The crowd stared in silence, but after like 5 seconds, nothing happened. Bakugo had his smirk on, but quickly changed to a bit of a confused look. He did again, and again, and again, and again. What the hell? Why the hell is my quirk not working? Bakugo screamed. Huh, what is going on? I am so confused, Kaminari admitted. His quirk. He cannot cause his palm to release the explosion, or rather make an explosion, Momo explained. You are right, Miss Hierazu. Bakugo cannot use his quirk, Felicia declared. What? But how? Uraraka questioned. What the hell did you do to me? Bakugo demanded. Junko looked at him with a cold, expressionless face. I will lead you a bit of my secret. When I dodged you, you came flying back towards me. When I dodged that, I also gave you a little tap on your right arm. Did you notice it? Huh? Now that I think about it, Bakugo remembered that he did felt some kind of a small tap when it did. That wasn't just a tap. I specifically strike your certain nerve point in your arm. Your Kai point, I call it, to stop the flow of your quirk power. Now you cannot create an explosion in your right arm for the duration of this fight. Kai, Present Mike repeated. For all of you who are still don't get it, Aizawa spoke up again. Kai is a vital force or energy flow inside all living things, including us humans. It is part of the central understanding in ancient Chinese medicine, but it is also taught and utilized in certain martial arts. As you may or may not notice, but Junko Neru is a martial artist who knows how to manipulate the flow of Kai in her opponent's body by striking their Kai point, or in scientific terms, the nerve points, like how she did with Bakugo's right arm. I see. But where did she learn a technique like that, Mr. Mummy Man? I don't think we teach martial arts at our school, Present Mike stated. No, we don't. Most likely, she learned it outside of the school, Aizawa said. However, this is the first time I've ever seen someone who uses a martial art to fight and block the flow of quirk, and apply the concept of Kai to quirk before. Heh. If I can't use my right hand, then I will use my left. Bakugo raised his left hand. But then Junko's arm moved quicker than his that she slapped his left hand, which released the explosion in the wrong direction away from her. She swayed the explosion in a different direction, Speed Girl yelled. Also, whenever I touch someone by direct, naked skin, I cause that part of the body to numb, Junko added. If I do something like this. Junko poked different points on Bakugo's face, ending with a single point on his forehead, and pushed him away. Slowly, Bakugo flipped back over himself before he laid completely down on his backside and began snoring. You go to sleep, Junko added. Deku and everyone gasped to see Bakugo easily defeated and put to sleep. Is that her nerve strike technique? Present Mike questioned out loud. That is her real quirk, Aizawa admitted. Junko Neru quirk, sleep touch. When she touches other person's direct, naked skin, it put them to sleep. Combining her knowledge and technique of nerve strike, or striking the foe's Kai point, and her martial arts skills, this makes her a strong, versatile, and unexpected opponent to fight with. Possibly make her almost invincible. It is best to not let her poke you or have any physical contact with her to be on the safe side. By Aizawa Ake erase your head. Ah, right, Midnight snapped out, realizing it was still a game. The winner of the US Sports Festival tournament is Junko Neru. The crowds were surprised, but let out the loudest cheer they can muster. Wow, that was amazing, one of the spectators shouted. I've never seen someone who does that before, little known from a kid, a student. I've definitely learned something new today. That Junko girl is worthy for scouters. I can't believe it, folks. I just can't. But the fact is we have a winner. The winner of this year's first-year US Sports Festival is from Class L, Junko Neru, Present Mike announced. This is the most unexpected turn of an event, but we saw it right here, folks. The most unexpected person has seized victory, through trials by pure luck, but proved us wrong that anything is a possibility. Wow, that was amazing. Junko-chan won. Arisa stood up and gave a round of applause. Everyone else did the same, followed by spectators around. Awesome. Congratulations. Way to go. Those were the words shouted by the spectators. A lot of them have doubt that she would win out of all the contestants, but they realized and learned to never judge a book by its cover. A little bit later, all the contestants of the UA Sports Festival gathered at the center of the stadium to see the awards ceremony. All of the first-year events for this year's US Sports Festival have been completed. And now, we will begin the awards ceremony, Midnight announced. Fireworks started around the stadium, while the crowds cheered when suddenly, a big puff of smoke appeared, causing a platform to rise from the ground. The platform had 3 levels. At the lowest level was Shoto Todoroki. On the second level, which was a bit higher, was Katsuki Bakugo, who was chained to a thick wooden plank, and his mouth was covered as he was trying to get out of it. On the highest level, there was Junko Neru, who was sleeping peacefully while standing still. Everyone, especially Class 1, looked displeased or concerned, but not too surprised to see how Bakugo was acting out. Wow, Minda said, looking a bit scared, while he was on Mizo Shoji's back. What the heck, Gyro said. That's a lot of chains, Arisa noticed as she sweat dropped. He's been struggling ever since waking up, Kirishima explained. But man, I still can't believe that your classmate, Junko Neru, wins, and she is like sleeping now when she was all that strong and cool in the final. He is like man eating a field, Takoyami commented. Agreed, AI nodded. Bakugo struggled as he was muffled. In addition to Todoroki-kun, there is also Ida Tenya in third place. but he left early for family reasons. Thank you for understanding. Midnight posed cutely at the media. Teach Midnight sure knows how to show off in front of the media, Illy stated as he shrugged and grinned at that. That's too bad for Ida-chan. He was really into it, Suyu said, looking a bit disappointed. Yeah, Midoriya nodded, not saying too much about it. Though, he looked very worried. Arisa wondered about it, too. She hoped that whatever the reason he left, it wasn't something too serious. She hoped for his health and his family, and just paid attention to the ceremony and enjoyed it. Now, we will award the victors, and the person who will do the honor this year is none other than… Ha ha ha! A familiar silhouette appeared at the top of the stadium. The spectators quickly realized who it was, cheering it louder than before. It's All Might, one of them shouted excitedly. Shoo! All Might jumped off from the top of the stadium. Our very own here, All Might. I have bought the medals here. Midnight soon realized that she talked over All Might, who was just speaking out for his epic entry, but was ruined accidentally. Sorry, but I talked over you. She apologized while All Might looked at her, trying to keep a straight face, but couldn't help and feel frustrated. Man, this year's first years are so lucky, one of the spectators said. To be awarded from the #1 hero, what an honor, another one admitted. Now then, All Might, please present the medals, starting with 3rd place. Midnight gave All Might the 3 medals. Thank you, Miss Midnight. All Might accepted them as he walked over one by one, starting with the 3rd place, Shoto Todoroki. Young Todoroki, congratulations. He put the medal around Todoroki for him, as the boy silently accepted it. I assume that you didn't use your left arm for a reason, right? I had an opportunity during my match with Midoriya, but then I became unsure of myself, he said. I think I understand a little of why you are interested in him. I wanted to become a hero like you. But I didn't think it would be right for me to break one away like that. He raised his head and looked straight at All Might. There is something I must settle. All Might nodded. The look on your face is completely different than when you started in this sports festival. He hugged the boy. I won't ask for details. I'm sure that you will be able to do what you need to do. Yes, Todoroki replied. Then, I wish you good health, young Todoroki, All Might said. He turned to Bakugo next, who was acting wildly as he tried to get out. Young Bakugo, how are you doing? He asked. Bakugo gave him the scariest face he could muster. I know you are doing well, and you did all your best. I think you did splendidly well, even in 2nd place, and that is no easy task. Why don't I remove that muffler from you? He let go of the muffler. Damn it. Curse you all. Why the hell am I at 2nd place? Why is that sleeping bitch at 1st? Don't be like that, young Bakugo. It may be frustrating for you, but now you can use that feeling of frustration to strive better. Nonetheless, congratulations, young boy. All Might tried to give him the medal, but he resisted. No, the hell way, I will accept 2nd. I only seek for absolute 1st, Bakugo yelled. All Might tried to put the medal over him and decided to just put it over his mouth. Good, good, All Might said as he walked a little bit faster over to the 1st place. He looked down at Junko Neru, who was sleeping peacefully. He stared at her with the same expression for a moment. Young Junko, I am sure that you know a lot of people here doubted you to even make it this far, he began. Everyone listened quietly as this one was a bit different from All Might's speech to the 2 other winners. You started last in the first game, the race, and made it last in the race. You, fortunately, made it through the first couple of rounds in the tournament. Everyone here thought that you were just a lucky sleepyhead who will never win this tournament, and I admit that I had a bit of doubt and worry that you wouldn't. All Might be patted on her head. However, you proved us wrong. You proved to everyone here that even an underdog can achieve victory and surprise us all. Your performance in the final match was the greatest thing I've ever seen, and I want to say thank you. Junko Neru gave out a sudden snore as her breathing was stuck for a moment. Though I wish you were awake to listen to what I am saying to you now. I bet you are listening to me right now, even in your sleep. I just want to say congratulations, young Junko, and thank you for showing us a great performance. All Might put the medal over Junko as everyone clapped for the victor, and All Might for his wonderful, honest speech. Thank you for all watching. But even though these 3 are here on this podium, I believe that all of you here can also be here, too. Every one of you is winners in my eyes, and I wish you all to do your best and become a winner in your ways. Become a winner in my ways, Arisa wondered. Now then, to end of this great event, I want all of your attention, All Might declared. Everyone knew what was coming. Say it with me, All Might announced. Plus Ultra. Thank you for your hard work. Everyone stopped for a moment, and then started booing at All Might. All Might. That is when you say Plus Ultra. Everyone cursed at him. Well, I thought everyone worked hard, so I thought that was a good way to end it. No? He asked sheepishly. US Sports Festival ended well. At the ending ceremony, SMH Club performed their performance, as the students, the spectators, enjoyed it. Class A was surprised that their classmate, Gyro, was part of it, playing the bass. Unfortunately, Kai Uno wasn't in the performance. My Hero Academia. At some kind of lab, Kai Uno was being monitored and checked over his vital, while he was inside the giant tube full of liquids. He slowly opened his eyes, and then started knocking it from the inside. Sir, he wants to get out, one of the people said. They were all wearing a safety hazard suit that nuclear power plant workers usually wear. The man who looked like a doctor looked over a machine. It showed a level of radiation that it was detecting. The level is at a safe level. We may open it, he said. They pressed some buttons, causing the tube to drain all the liquids away. The tube opened, and two people helped Kai to stand up on his feet. Are you feeling okay, Kai-kun? The headman said. I am fine, Doc. Thank you, he replied. What's been going on? Well, I got your text from your sister not too long time ago that US Sports Festival is over. And the winner is someone from your class, he said in a positive tone. Typical. It must be Yuki Drago, Kai shrugged. Actually, no. Yuki Drago declared himself to drop from the tournament before the semi-finale. This revelation surprised him, but then shrugged. Then who? Kai asked. It is a young girl named Junko Neru, according to what your sister said. Say WH has at, Kai said in a high-pitched voice.